Alright. This is Player 1 OK maglalaro ng COC tonight. So na kayo dyan. 2 hours na lang difference ang Pilipinas and ang Melbourne. Wait lang.
Halika at yakapin mo itong mga pangako na tanging sa'yo lang iibig at di magbabago. Walang hiling kundi ikaw ay aking makasama. Handa kong ituwid, mali ay aking itatama. Basta't para sa'yo lahat ay aking gagawin. Ipanatag mo ang puso mo, sa'yo'y di kaya magsinungaling. Sapagkat ikaw ang babaeng natatanging dalangin. Parang tala sa langit na umukit sa damdamin. Tinuwid ang kamaliang kaya di ko sasayangin. At tanging nilapitan at bunga ng panalangin. Salamat dahil nandiyan ka. Sa'yo ko lang nadama. Pag-ibig mo na siyang hinanap ko. Matagal ng dalangin ko. Walang dahilan para layuan. Walang dahilan kaya di nasasaktan. Sarap sa ilalim ng kalawakan. Kapag kapiling kang tumitig sa kawalan. Saksi ang buwan at ituloy sa pagmamahalan nating dalawa. Kay sarap sa ilalim ng kalawakan. Kapag kapiling kang tumitig sa kawalan. Saksi ang buwan at pituloy sa pagmamahalan nating dalawa. Nating dalawa.
Malayo ka man, mahal, di mong tandaan. Di magbabago, pag-ibig ko'y sa'yo lamang. Magtiwala ka lang, tawid dagat man ang pagitan natin dalawa, di yan makakahalang. Kahit malayo ka man, mahal, kumusta ka na? Mag-iingat ka palagi, huwag ka mag-alala. Di man kita makasama ngayon, pero hindi yun rason para ako ay maghanap pa ng iba. Sapagkat ako'y kontento na sa'yo lang ako. Ikaw ang kukumpleto sa mundo ko at bumuo. Kaya wala nang dahilan para ako'y magluko. Basta lalaki na nag supahan natin dalawa, maghihintay ako na muli makasama ka. Di magbabago pag-ibig ko'y sa'yo lamang. Magtiwala ka lang, tawid dagat man ang pagitan natin dalawa. Di yan magkakahalang kahit malayo ka man. Mahal, lagi mong tandaan, di magbabago pag-ibig ko'y sa'yo lamang. Magtiwala ka lang.
Uy, shoutout kay paring Robert. Thank you, man.
Kahit malayo ka man.
Flipping on the beat. Panty droppers.
Nagbago mula ng iyong lisanin. Inipon ng buot bago ko biglang palayasin. Para nga bang di ko na maramdaman ang sakit. Mundo ko yung ikot mag-isa. Di naman akalain na mabubuo ako ng tanging alay.
Uy, shoutout kay Pauline. Thank you naman sa pa 50 stars ni Mayores. Musta ka na dyan? Mukhang enjoy na enjoy dyan ah.
Yung relasyon natin na tila ba telenovela. Tinutuloy ko pa rin na
Oh. Ayun.
Hello.
Halo.
Saan ba ako sa 12 ako, ba Joyce?
Na 13, tama, 12. Nandun sa Pops?
Ay,
Today's
12 pala ako, no?
Team 2 na ako nakalagay.
Wait lang. Tignan ko.
Tama, dyan na lang si Quiz West para siya yung Ay, hindi. Dito.
Ay, saan ako? Sa 11 o 12?
Okay.
Team
13
3
ka.
tayo. Third
Sinabi ko na
12
kanina.
tayo.
Wait.
Gabaliktad tayo.
Yan.
Dito ako sa 12.
Sa 12 ako.
12.
Hindi, Pops Romel
Anong
tama
sinasabi
yung-
mo?
ko.
Hindi ka ba tumitingin sa slot? Ano,
12
Chinito?
ako eh.
Hindi, nasa Team 12 ako. 10, 11, 12,
Sigurado ka?
diba? Yes, Team 3, diba? Tama.
Tama yan. Team 2, 12 yan.
Ayan.
Nalilito ko yung nakapwesto sa 11. Paano ko talilituin?
Hindi, sinamahan ko lang. So, pumasok lang ako sa room kay Di ba nag-message ako na ilipat si Sir Reed sa lounge.
Ay, thank you ulit sa 50 stars. Thank you, Pauline. Nagkape ka na, Bads.
Ha? Gabi na, boys.
Parang parang init ulo ah.
Gabi ah.
Baka magulat.
Gusto mo atang tumirik yung mata ko buong gabi, guys.
Ako nga, nagkakape pa ako nung oras na ba? 10 PM na dito. Ito pampatulog ko
Ano bang slot yung UA?
Ito, tubig. Bakit big?
Naliligaw yun.
Alright, let's jam. Let's go.
Sino wala sa kulang sa inyo?
Oh, Bads, ako, Bads, kulang.
Sali ka, Koy.
Oo, sali ka ako.
Pasok ka.
sali.
Slot 3.
Ako,
Pasok ka, bilis.
Tara na, Quiz Ray.
Akala ko may lakad ka, Koy Ray.
Hindi, nag-gym lang ako kanina, Bads. Tapos,
Yun.
okay.
Diyan pala si paring Ray.
Saan ako?
East West.
Saan ako?
Di ba,
Saan
ikaw,
ako?
ikaw commander sa ano. Kaya ba?
Ah, sige. Sige, Bads,
Kaya na
no
ba?
problem. Oo, Bads, sige.
Okay. Sige, sige. O, East West, ano,
well,
mag-stream ka muna, mag-live ka muna sa ano.
Okay, sige. Thank you.
Huwag kang, huwag kang lalabas ng room, ha?
Ako? Ah, sige.
Mamaya lumabas ka ng room.
si ano lang commander, si
Okay. So, ano lang.
Si Chris Ray lang
Mute
magpakuman.
lang, mute. Gaganon. Mute.
Ah, sige,
Laro lang tayo.
As def. Ah, okay. Good. Yan. So, sabi nila, wag daw muna akong lalabas sa, ano, sa Discord. Oh, yeah. Yan. Para magpahinga daw muna ako. Matagal ko nga nagpahinga eh. Ngayon na lang ulit nakapag-stream. Kaya shoutout sa, ano, COC. Sa, ano, sa Crosside de Familia, CDF. Yan. At kay Bads, ang aming leader, at sa mga miyembro ng CDF, mabuhay tayong lahat. Shoutout din kay Promski TV. Thank you sa pag-notify. Oh yeah.
Left me a really great comment the other day, and it asked some very key questions. Now, first of all, the thing you need to realize is a limiter is essentially an extreme form of compression. In fact, you can take a compressor and dial the settings up.
Yun o, shoutout kay paring Ray. Thank you sa paghabol. Musta ng natin, ng mga biceps natin? Nag-gym daw si paring Ray eh. Nice. Actually ako, kaka-start ko lang din ulit mag-gym. Kaya medyo iba yung pakiramdam ko ngayon. Medyo active konti. Nakakamiss din pala mag-gym, no? Anyway, happy ako guys. Ako'y nakapag-live ulit kasi bihira nang makapag-live si Player 1OK kasi ang daming responsibilities and priorities. Pero okay lang 'yan kasi worth it naman yung natin ginagawa sa sa mundong ibabaw. So sa mga viewers natin dyan, maraming salamat sa pag-tune in. This is Player 1OK maglalaro ng COC Clash of Clans. Sa mga hindi pa nakakapag-like and follow and share ng aking stream, you may do so. Please type Player 1OK on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitch. Makikita nyo Player 1OK. Press nyo lamang ang like button and follow. And then yung notification, type all or press all para lagi tayong notified sa ating mga activities ni Player 1OK. Bukas nga pala, abangan nyo, merong interview si West Styles, 9 p.m. Melbourne time and 7 p.m. Philippine time. Po-promote ko na din ang page ng mag-interview sa atin. Tingnan natin. Sabay mag-interview sa atin. Yun. So, please like and follow Pinoy in Australia online channel. Follow nga natin. Ayan. So, dyan nyo mapapanood ang interview. Live interview ni West Styles. Nako! Ang mag-interview kay West Styles ay walang iba kundi sila Jeanette and Juliet. Sila ay mga host dito sa Melbourne. At ang kanilang channel ay ang Pinoy in Australia online channel. Usapang Pinoy, enjoy Pinoy. Abangan nyo bukas dyan sa mga taga Pinas, 7 p.m. Manila time at 9 p.m. AEST. Sa mga gustong makilala si West Styles, ayan, pagkakataon yun Pwede nyong mapanood ng live si West Styles. Ayun, ayun. Sa mga viewers natin dyan, this is Player 1 OK maglalaro ng COC. Ito. Yun. Yun.
Hello, bud. Bud.
Yun.
Yes, bud. Hello, bud. Bud.
Nice.
Open trust talk. Nagsasabi na itong karaulo.
Pwede mag-drive ka lang.
Tagal mo na wala ko stress. Busy.
Oo, kasi tayo shooting. Nag-shooting tayo ng ng music video ni West Styles. Oo, kaya tinabuan tayo ng bigote konti. Ayun, musta yung pagbubuhat mo, men?
Lang guys Okay naman guys. Okay naman. Dating gabi, bud?
Kaya ba ito sa... Grabe naman na nasa old top. Nagmumurahan ko.
Magsi-shelter ba tayo? Saan ba tayo dadaan? Saan kayo dadaan, bud? Shelter? Dating gawin para
Dating gawin. Basta may kotse. Pwede na yan.
Sige, basta dire-diretso. Magno-Novo tayo, Novo. Novo pa rin.
Pagka makulit.
Sige, guys. Baka pwede nyo nang kuhanin ng military. Merong may nakikita kayo? Merong sasakyan? Baka may nakikita na kayo.
Wala pa, mataas pa.
Ito.
Emirates. Ito, meron isa.
Ito. Dalawang sasakyan, kuhanin nyo na lahat. Pati nasa
Enemies ahead.
garage. Itong nasa kalsada, kuhanin nyo na rin. Akin yung nasa
akin na
garage.
tong-
Kuhanin nyo sa garage.
Akin na tong kalsada.
Basta tayo, Novo. Novo military. Okay, sir.
Lala, damo ka sakay.
Sige, dali mo na yan. Meron. Kita-kits na lang doon.
Ayan, may mga naka-parachute po.
Yun
Ay, blue.
Ay, blue. Kampi pala. Kala ibon.
Kenji, buti na lang dito namaan. Kenji, walang iya.
Kulay blue pala, nung nakalapag na.
Titipid ako ng gas.
Sige, magmimilta na lang. Milta na lang daw tayo.
Milta.
Milta daw tayo.
Malapit na tayo.
Wala, buds, wala pa naman. Yung isa lang kanina, muntik tamaan ni Kenji, sino yun? Kala,
Hindi, sinilip ko lang ko na pindot lang yung yung mouse.
napindot lang ba? Kala ko
Napindot lang.
sinano mo eh. Sinipat mo talaga eh.
Shotgun pa man din yun. Kung sakaling
Okay.
medyo malapit. Medyo malapit yung range
Dito
nun,
na
pag
kaya?
tinamaan yun.
Thank you.
Hiwalay na lang ako. Sarap. Sopa sa mainit.
Uy, sarap niya na.
Umulan din dyan, Kois Ray. Umulan sa
Oo,
inyo.
lakas ng ulan dito.
Hmm.
Hindi ako makaalis sa gym kanina dahil ang lakas ng ulan.
Anong binuhat mo, men?
Motor lang ako. Nag-ano ko, shoulder.
Shoulder? Oo. Pampapogi.
I need a weapon.
Ay, gagi. Sorry.
Balikat.
Hindi namin nasinipat buds yung iba buds ha. Basta dito sa Milta walang tao buds. Ewan namin sa Novo. Hindi ba naglaro si Pinini? Naka-line up si Pinini kanina.
Kaya nga, wala naman sa ano.
Wala.
Close mo na lang, boys. Yes, buds. Nasa akin, buds. Merong si Chris West tsaka si Kenji.
Yun.
Kenji, nakaano ka, Kenji? Yung exot? Bawal ba yung exot, buds?
Kaya pinalitan ko.
Hindi ko alam. Pinalitan niya raw. Hindi,
Nakaano
pinalitan
ako
niya na
yung
raw.
blue na diving.
Naka-blue daw siya, naka-blue. Malayo kasi ako sa kanila, buds.
Yun.
Nababay-bayang. Walang hiya, dalawang shotgun pa rin hawak ko.
May AK dito.
I got
Ako
supplies.
lang nandito pa sa ano. Hindi ako nagamit yan.
Sige lang, sige lang. Magkakaroon din.
Red dot ba? Ito na lang, polo.
I got supplies.
Bit-bit na ako na isang gas
I
ha.
got supplies.
Wala kang bison? Wala kayo nakitang bison?
Wala eh.
May
Wala.
nakita ako. Wait, saan ako nakita yun? Mark ko na lang ulit.
Sige. Thank you.
Okay.
Ito may ulo dito.
I
Ito
got
ba,
supplies.
Nagana ba to? Shit. Sige, puntahan ako. Thank you. Pre ulo.
Extra
I got
for
supplies.
Naka-OC ako eh. UMP o dito.
I got supplies.
Mag-UMP.
nasa ano? Oven.
Hindi ko pa nalulutan to at
Marked a
tumabahay
location.
dyan. Babalikan ko na yung ano. Bison.
Ano naman kaaway mo dyan, Buds?
Parang init ng ulo ni Buds ah.
Hindi. Masaya lang siya.
Masaya lang.
Ganyan yan pag masaya eh. Oo. Baliktad siya pag
Parang
masaya eh.
Parang ang hirap niya maging masaya.
Ganyan ba siya pag nakakamiss? Minsan may mga ganun, no? Pag may namimiss yung mga tao, no? Nang aaway.
Nang inaano, di lang nila
Ma-express
mapakita.
maigi, oo. Iba yung
Oo.
ano nila pag i-express nila. Siguro na-miss tayo ni Buds kasi tagal natin nawala. Lalo na ako. Ano?
Tagal mo na wala kasi. Yung sa video mo pala.
Oo. Kaso magre-reshoot kami. Sa May. Kaya medyo pending.
Sa main.
O, ulitin namin ulit.
Bagong labas na naman na kanta.
Nagkamali kasi. So habang naghihintay, gumagawa ko ng bagong kanta. Sa isip pa lang.
Sabi mo, tatawag ka.
Baka kailangan nyo ng extended Meron akong extended dito. 3. Ng AR pala. Hindi, kalimutan ko sabihin.
Ginamit niyo yung kotse ko.
PM ka
Baka
pa
may
sa
makita
akin.
kayong DP, Arbor na lang. Pag hindi nyo gagamitin. Ayun. May 3x pa akong reserva guys pag kailangan nyo. Nandito na ako sa meeting place, walang tao.
Nasa Novo daw sila?
Nobo sila tsaka military base.
Saan layo?
Ang sarap naman ang loot nila doon.
Kaya sa Red.
Tara. Let's go.
Ang car,
I got supplies.
kailangan nyo ng car? Nagre-render ako.
98. Sige. Ako kukuha.
Wait lang Merong naka-off ako. Merong Wait na. Nagre-render ako. Ay hindi, baka ano yata, yung aeroplano yata.
Nasa kabila.
Ito yung car
I got supplies.
Ito yung car.
Ayun pala yung car dun sa
Kailangan
kabila.
yung 3x. May 3x ako. May 3x ako pag kailangan.
Hindi mo ito, talagay dito.
Nasaan yung car 98 daw?
Nandito sa tabi. May 4x. 4x na rin. Ito. Mark ko ulit.
I got supplies.
4x. Extended.
Uy, yung pagkain
3x
ko.
kailangan nyo guys. Okay na
I
kayo?
got supplies.
3x
I got
din.
supplies.
Gusto na ako sa scope ko.
Sige. Kopya. Hold na lang tayo tapos hintayin na lang natin sila. Yes, Buds. Nasa meeting place kami, Buds. Meeting place. Okay, kopya.
Dadalhin ka dito sa kabila. Akin na yung wallet.
Dito nga yata, tara, punta na tayo.
Ako ng ano.
Akin na yung wallet.
Sige, kuhanin ko na lang.
Rifle to rifle.
Tatawid na raw tayo.
I got supplies.
Ano?
Tatawid. Ang dami kong dalang gas.
Judgmental ka. Oh, tulungan mo ako.
Tawid tayo. Guys, nasa ano pa kayo? Military base pa kayo, guys?
Ito na. Huwag mo muna galamin yan.
Sige. Sunod kami dyan. Hanap tayo doon na malulot. Sige. Sige,
Pasabay ako. Tara.
let's go. Punta tayo M-base. Bads, tatawid na kami, Bads, ha? Baka kayo may maipit, oh. Baka maipit ka. No, kuhanin mo na to, merong sasakyan pa, oh. May sasakyan na ba kayo lahat? O, walay daw. Merong
Uy,
kailangan.
shoutout kay paring Bray. Pwede kita hintayin, men. Kasi 3 game to. So, anong oras na dyan? 8:30.
Ito pa, oh, isang sasakyan pa. May sasakyan pa ba yung isa? Ito, meron pa dito.
Siguro hanggang late, men.
Ito. Kenji, oh. Kuhanin nyo. Sasakyan. Wala raw silang kotse. Maraming sasakyan na dito sa may
Laro
bandang
tayo,
tulay,
men.
Bads, ha? Mga US. Marami na sasakyan dito sa mga walang sasakyan. Sa tulay dito sa left side. Left side tulay, Nobo. Okay. Nandito pa kami sa Nobo. Maraming sasakyan. Ang dami naman pala dito. Oh, may kalaban daw sila dun. Back muna kaya kayo, Kois. Nakatambang ba kayo sa tulay, Kois? Nakatambang kayo sa tulay? Maraming kotse dito, Bads, ha? Ito, may nagbaba ako ng gas dito, Bads. 2. Kailangan nyo ba? Ito, ilalagay ko na lang sa kalsada. Sa kalsada ko na lang ilalagay.
Lagyan ko na yung sa atin, Kenji.
Sige, kuya. Dito ba tayo?
Hindi, wait natin sila, Bads. Kenji. Sabay-sabay na raw. Sila, Bads, on the way na sila, Bads, dito.
I got supplies.
Ay, may M4 pa dito.
Ito yung gas, oh.
I got supplies.
Sayang.
Nandun daw sila, Bad, sa may kabilang tulay. Tara, baka pa natin sila kabilang tulay. Tinatambangan na nila yung ano.
Bilan pa na yun.
Sige, tara. Diretso na kayo, may sasakyan ako. Diretso na kayo, mga koy. Sige, Bad, sige. Diretso na kayo, koy. Doon daw sa harap. Harap. Nandyan sila. Ay, wala na. Papunta kami dyan, Kuys, ha. Sige, Bad. Saan tayo pepesto, Bad? Nagre-render. Military daw, military. Military na lang daw tayo. Ito, marami kami. Lahat nung sasakyan na to, marami kami sasakyan. Saan tayo sa military, Bad? Sa likod o sa building? Ako yung naka-pink lang, Buds.
Oo. Gaga na stuck pa nga. Putik
Si
na yan.
Kenji, si Merong, tagi-isa kami sa... Hindi. Kakampi kami, Buds.
Kasama kami ni,
Kopya.
ni John.
Okay na to, guys. Dito na lang tayo.
Ang daming UAZ. Daming kotse.
Magbawas daw tayo ng sasakyan yata. Magbawas yata daw tayo ng sasakyan para hindi raw masyadong hirap mama. Si Bad yan sigurado. Nasaan ang pink?
May ano nila bawasan yung iba kasi baka may
Ba't sa akin
sumabog
tong
yan,
pink ka? Amin yan ha. Kala mo, nagawang candy. Gasan ko lang yung sasakyan natin.
Okay,
1 car na lang tayo, mga boys. Ito, may gas pa tayo.
Uy!
Hindi yan, Baka sila Bads yan, nagbabawas ng sasakyan.
Nagpapasabog lang ng kotse.
Nagtatanggal siya ng sasakyan kasi masyadong marami. Nagbabawas siya. Gets. Ay, nakuha na yung gas. Hindi tayo pasok. Sino tong nakatago? Sino tong kasama namin? Lagyan ko nga ng tatak, baka makuha tong kotse natin. Ah. Buds, out of sound tayo, Buds, ha? Remind ko lang, Buds. Tara mga kuys. Kenji, nasaan ka na, Kenji?
Yes, kuya. Nandito lang.
May sasakyan ka dyan, sunod ka na.
Meron.
Buds, si Kenji nakahiwala yan, wait lang ha. Kasi nag-ano siya
Ito,
ng loot.
dito.
Wala siyang nalutan dun sa ano. Sige. Dito na lang muna daw tayo. Ano lang muna tayo sa... Yan.
Linaw.
Top, sasabog na. Sasabog na yan.
Sabog
Baka
yan. Baka madamay
baka
ako.
maano kayo.
May insta-kill ako dyan. Delikado.
Wala pa naman patawad yun.
Kakakampi ba to kalaban? Nasa harap, 290. Sa loob ng ano. Hindi ko alam kung kakampi to, guys. Hindi ko sure kung kakampi. Ito na. Ay, si Pinini pala. Siya nga yun, yung naka ano.
May glider doon, no?
Masikip dito. Teka lang ha. Kuhanin ko muna yung team ko para hindi tayo crowded. Tara, guys. Kenji. Meron. Usog tayo dito sa may mga tangke. Buds, dito lang kami sa may mga tangke, Buds, ha. Masyado tayo masikip dyan. Ito lang, ito. Tanaw nyo kami.
Aeroplano.
Nandito lang kami sa may left
Uy,
side.
ano yun? May kotse doon
Yung
sa
mga
labas. Ayun, no?
Marked a vehicle.
May kotse dito sa harap. Buds 160. Kaninong sasakyan to? Sa taas daw. 350. May ano daw, kotse. 350.
Kulay blue.
Di guys, sa kanila rin yan merong. Sa atin siguro yan. Baka nagpalit lang.
Bakit kay Promil, no? Ganyan din kay Promil, eh. Si Egg Balls to. Yung Egg Balls to.
Nakaiwalay. Sige yan. Umalis na raw yung nasa 350. Out of zone tayo ulit. Pasok pa raw si Pinini.
Si Egg Balls.
3 o'clock, Ridge. 3 o'clock sa Ridge. Sa may kalsada raw. Okay, tara. Sundan na lang natin sila para sigurado.
Naka-render?
Sino yan? Si Pinini yan. Si Pinini yata yan ah. Moving car daw sa taas. Delikado tayo dito, Bad. Saan ba tayo, Bad?
M-base ulit, pasok.
May tao dito.
May
tao
nakatambay,
dito.
may nakatambay.
May nakatambay na dun, oh.
Sa 275, may tao, Bad.
Ang daming kotse. Puti.
Tulungan na natin sila. Baba, guys, baba.
I-rage mo lang, Dad. I-rage mo
Ano
lang.
na. Papalag na tayo.
Ako po.
Puti yan, nasa taas, ha.
Atras. Kami na lang atras. Tara, team ko. Sige, atras tayo, atras. Tayo daw maglilikod para hindi tayo malikuran.
Let's go.
Nakwan.
Tara,
Kenji, alika na, Kenji.
Okay.
Ikot daw tayo, ikot.
Nakto na sa kanila.
Flank tayo, flank. Flank. Let's go.
Bads, tatawid ba kami, Bads?
Ang dami to. Ang
Guys,
render.
wag niyo po siya.
Nakwan ulit.
Granada. Ano? Merong granada, gamit granada.
Insta.
Meron na, may pababa. Tara, Dad. Baka bang ito.
Bads, akyat na, Bads. Okay na, Bads. Konti na lang to. Ano, wala. Left side,
Kabila
marami.
naman,
Left
sa
side.
kabila.
275.
Compound sa baba. Ang dami.
275 marami nga. Gitna tayo, Bads. Ano na, kukuhanin na natin to. Sige. Iwan daw sa baba yung iba.
Moving vehicle.
May nakabawag na.
North.
Moving daw, moving. Wala
Walang
sa amin,
bumba.
wala, Bads. Kumpleto kami.
Ito na, sa baba
Kabilang
natin.
north.
Ayun na. 310. Wag mo ano? May nakaharang.
Oh.
Hindi ko mabaril. Mababaril ko itong nakaharang.
Sige, wag daw
Joke lang.
tayong gumit
Oo,
na, guys,
sakit.
ha. Guys, wag tayong gumit na daw, guys. Baka malikuran daw tayo.
Watch out! Mark the
Ito to, may running.
Kenji, may cover ba kayo dyan, Kenji? Cover lang, ha.
Mark the location.
Nasa baba na. Wala na. May ridge na dun.
Uy, may bumabaril. Ay,
Nakadapa yung isa.
Nako. Na-down ako. Sa malayo. 15. 10,
Yun.
5. Thank you.
Smoke yan, ha. Dalawang smoke yung binato ko.
Thank you. Uy, shoutout kay Ma'am Reggie.
Coordinate, guys. North daw, north 15.
Watch out!
Ito nandito sa bato.
Sige.
Yun lang, nasunog.
Happy birthday ulit, Ma'am
Panalo
Reggie.
nga, nasunog naman ng nilog.
Sakit. Barilin mo na, Kenja.
Watch out!
Lalabas na yan.
Hindi, lumabas ka.
Watch out!
Uy, meron na sa kaliwa.
Uy.
Sa taas. Dito lang, malapit. 265. 280.
Gagi. Nandito sa amin. Sa harap namin.
Sige. Naka-cover ako sa inyo.
Thank you, thank you.
Masyado kayo nakaabante ha, Kenji. Kuy Swiss ha. Ingat,
Okay.
Kuy Swiss.
Ito
Nandiyan
na
ang
ako.
sa harapan.
Nakabak na ako.
Baka yung konti para makakita kayo. Pula, 320 pula. 320
Sayang.
pula. Merong ha, dali ka dyan sa likod mo, Merong. Yung pwesto mo,
Sige lang.
madadali ka dyan ha. Ingat dyan. Okay, Merong, pwede mo dyan, Merong. Merong, dikit ka sa akin, yan, tama yan, Merong, nasa likod mo ako. Kenji, dikit Kenji. Request, ingat ka dyan, Request, ha.
Ang render ha, hindi ako makapatok. Wait lang. Ito, kita ko na.
Durog-durog na yan, ha. May granada, Kenji, ha. Huwag masyado i-push, may granada.
Okay,
Sa
okay,
bato.
okay.
Marked a location.
Dito dad sa akin. Sa baba.
Uy, lagi nandito sa grass. Muntikan na ako din.
Pass si Kenji.
Kenji, okay.
Up ka na.
Konting tiis na lang, guys. Konting
Thank
tiis
you,
na lang.
guys.
Gamit kayo grenade, guys, pag nakikita nyo sila yung position. Bato nyo lahat ng grenade nyo para hindi masayang.
Nice one dad. I need to. I'm bleeding.
Ito, nakadapa, guys. Wala nang buhay yan. Nice one. Kenji, help. Bilang. Isa pa yata. Marami pa to.
Wait lang ako na mag-upside. Ito. Huwag ka na gumalaw.
Sige.
May mga
Isa
baril
na lang
pa.
yata yan, dalawa. Meron pa yan, 13 pa. Marami ano pa.
Oh, sabog.
Tama, pero Pan-fight lang daw. Tayo na lang ba? Tama ba, Bads? Tayo na lang. Bilang 4 kami, Bads. Okay, pan-fight lang daw. Nasunog daw niluluto ni Bads.
Wala ako dito.
Masarap yan, Bads.
Wala ako dito.
Masarap yan, sinigang na ganyan. Yung totong.
Ahil muna ako.
Adobo.
Ano?
Sabihin nyo, pag-game na, guys, ha.
Hindi pa ba game?
Baba nyo yung mga baril nyo para di kayo mabigat.
Hindi pa ba game?
Hindi pa raw game.
Eh, may pinapalo na ako dun.
Bads, game na ba to? Hindi pa. Palitin pa raw yung bilog.
Ang dami
Palitin pa
dito.
raw.
Nandito si Pops Romil ah. Nandito sa Pops Romil sa kanan.
Oh, yeah, may bumabaril. Wala, nag-uubos
May
lang.
bumaba rin.
Nag-uubos lang yata ng bala.
Atin nyo ba?
Kenji,
dito?
nasa ka, Kenji? Nako, Kenji, gumagalaw ka ba, Kenji? Nandiyan ka?
Nag-heal. Nagbo-boost.
Ah, sige. Wala pa raw, ah.
Putong no, 127 na balo.
Buds, bilang ka ng 1 to 10. Ayan, pwede na siguro to, Buds. Medyo maliit na.
Gago. Gago.
Tunugin natin yan. Hindi.
Ay, bastos.
Uy,
Ay.
may na-knockout ako.
Top promil. Yariin ka namin.
Oh.
Egg balls oh. Egg balls to ah. Woohoo! Galing umilag. Galing umilag natin, Bads, no? Gulat ka na, egg balls.
Asan si ate, Buds?
Ito, yung shot ko.
Meron pa sa nasa labas, oh. Sino yun?
Utot mo.
Ayun na, papasok na siya. Sino to?
Yo!
Panalo kami! Yay! Panalo kami!
Panalo si Bads.
Yes, Buds.
Yes.
Grabe si Kenji ah. Kenji.
Tangin na
Kenji, di ka man lang mamigay, walang iya ka. Post ko muna. Pasok ah. Nasunog yung sinigang ni Buds eh. Naging adobo raw eh. Naging adobo. Sarap niyan. Pwede pa yan, Buds. Lagyan mo lang ng tubig.
Yan, thank you, ma'am, Reggie.
Depende sa gaano ka pa ay gaano ka totong. Totong na totong ba? Pag hindi naman yun. Hindi yan, Buds. Hindi yan. Hindi yan. Okay lang yan. Hindi yan. Depende kasi sa totong eh. Kung sakto lang, okay lang yan. Nag-chicken dinner nga, wala namang nakain.
Sa laro lang na busog, no?
To a 10-to-1 ratio, and that compressor is now essentially functioning as a limiter. So a limiter, very much like compression, does a few things, and what it does is it specifically limits or reduces dynamic range. It reduces the difference between the loud and quiet parts in a track and bridges the gap between them, because you're going to ultimately be able to add some gain, and what ends up happening is the really loud stuff essentially gets cut and reduced, right? But then which is clip, while of course once again become really popular in music, plug-in as I am. Now all we're gonna do to make this super touch of loudness
Yeah, I don't want to take control. I don't want to take my soul. I don't want to take my clothes. I don't want to take my door. I don't want to leave me alone, leave me, oh. I don't want to take my joy. I don't want to take my toy. I don't want to take my voice. I'ma keep making noise. I'ma keep making noise.
So that was it out of context, obviously solo. Let's do it one more time in full context. I'll bypass it first and then put it in.
Yeah, I don't want to take control. I don't want to take my soul. I don't want to take my clothes. I don't want to take my door. I don't want to leave me alone, leave me, oh. I don't want to take my joy. I don't want to take my toy. I don't want to take my voice. I'ma keep making noise. I'ma keep making noise. Yeah, I don't want.
Might have been tougher to notice at the end there. We are only adding 1 dB. This is a very subtle amount of volume to be adding here, and that's why I like to do it. I want to do this transparently. I'm not going to rely on the limiter to do all the heavy lifting. I'm going to use it just to drive up the level a little bit, right? And as you can tell, when more vocals came in, more background vocals came in, it might have been a little bit more difficult to notice the difference, but in the first part that it was playing, you should have noticed that the
Yo. Naging box. Naging box, sumabog sa cancer ni Mickey. Sumabog sa tabi ng sasakyan. Kinuha niya ulit yung baggy. Bumaba. Kala ko yun yung gagawin niya pagkakita siya naman yung dala. Hindi ka naman. Ayaw maglakad.
Iikot kasi dapat ako dito sa bahay kung
Ba't ka sumabog sa konti kanina? Sinugod mo yung mga nakatapa.
Oo, inanting ko yung isang nakadapa.
Kaya daw natin sa dami sa sakit na pasabog.
Di mapigil ka ba tuwing tatabi ka na ako'y napapa-oh shit. Mapapaisip lang bigla, di makapagsalita ako'y na-chochope. Lakas ang dating mo, hayag ng ngiti mo, lagi mo nalang kinakabog ang dibdib ko.
Konti talaga naglalaro mo sa Nintendo. Pag nakapatan, magkagawa.
Baby, you know that I want you. Huwag mo naman akong pahirapan ng ganito, oh. I promise I will never ever leave you. Basta ba sumama ka lang sa'kin, ako bahala sa'yo, oh, oh. Huwag ka sanang mainis, dahan-dahan lang saglit. Huwag ka na magmadali, hayaan mo tayo. Ayoko lang masaktan ka, at sa dulo ay may pagsisihan ka. At dahil sa gusto kita, pangako ko sa'yo na iingatan ka. You know I'm coming up, babe, I know it's not enough. I don't wanna play, I just wanna be your man.
Hindi na, ayun.
In the last 7 days, I've made over 200.
May room na? Tara.
Pasok na tayo, guys.
Alright.
$100,000, and that's all working right here at home on my laptop.
I'm traveling the world now, making over $150,000 a month.
And I'm Matthew Lepre. I'm the founder of Ecom.
Nagapak sa mensahe, ilang ulit na dapa, ngunit lahat ng kapalit, lahat ay may napala, kaya di na muling pakukupain pa. Apoy sa damdamin pa, aalabin pa, kahit lahat ng bagay ay nasa akin na. Hirap at ginawa ang aking nakamtan.
2022 tila sa akin tinaon, biyaheng tagumpay narating ang destinasyon. Dati nakakaanli lang pag may imbitasyon, tignan mo ngayon halos wala ng limitasyon. Kasama ko ang gang, lahat ay paangat.
Pare, okay naman dito. Ano, kailan ka babalik? Hinahanap ka na dito. Yun, yan ang sinasabi ko. Sige pare, see you.
Say, eat it up, eat it up, eat it up like it's a wet kitty cat. Serve it up, serve it up, serve it up, then they can eat it up like lemon na pagsisay and boom it up. Ballin', hit that shit like brah, brah. Eat it up, eat it up, eat it up like it's a wet kitty cat. Serve it up, serve it up, serve it up, then they can eat it up like lemon na pagsisay and boom it up. Ballin', hit that shit like brah, brah.
Daming gustong tumikim, hindi papalarin. Yung kasama kong magutom, yun lang ang kakain. Mainit bagong luto, ingat baka mapasok. Isa to sa di inaasahan yung kulabo. Baby Z and Paulin Ballin Harris in the scene. Soon to be the cover of the local magazine. Kahit san mo itapat, di sure na may dating. Malabong mapatawag ng mga nagpipiling. Mala Escobar, Ella Cocaina. Pag nangihina ko, ito ang aking vitamina. I get up in Manila, na mala foreign. Kasi sa aming ira, galawang bisaliga.
Eat it up, eat it up, eat it up like it's a wet kitty cat. Serve it up, serve it up, serve it up, then they can eat it up like lemon na pagsisay and boom it up. Ballin', hit that shit like brah, brah. Eat it up, eat it up, eat it up like it's a wet kitty cat. Serve it up, serve it up, serve it up, then they can eat it up like lemon na pagsisay and boom it up. Ballin', hit that shit like it ain't a mystery you made. Nah, this ain't the bitchy code. Staying low because you know you don't belong on Queensy zone. Your cover blown out cause it's showing that you is a Queensy clone. So what your tone can overthrow, I own the Queensy throne. Don't compare me to this trash, do some segregation. Unlike him, I don't need a man to put me in supreme position. I'm the Filipina maldita representation. I'm no Nikki ng Pinas, I am the Queensy of the nation. I deserve fame cast and I'ma serve some ass. Then I'ma serve them sass, then I'ma get my cash. That's how boss bitches do. Lamon na ngayon, pag kami ang nagluto, lamon na lamon. Eat it up, eat it up, eat it up like it's a wet kitty cat. Serve it up, serve it up, serve it up, then they can eat it up like lemon na pagsisay and boom it up. Ballin', hit that shit eat it up, eat it up, eat it up like it's a wet kitty cat. Serve it up, serve it up, serve it up, then they can eat it up like lemon na bugsisay ang bumira. Ballin', ballin', hit that shit like bruh, bruh.
McFlurry with Cadbury Dairy Milk. Exclusively on Uber Eats for 1 week only.
Nico's MIDI chord pack.
Nico's MIDI pack.
Nico.
Best thing on the market when it comes to melody chord creation.
Very easy to use.
How easy it is. Drag and drop the MIDI files.
Know it's about to be lit when you hear that zay. I'm the hardest working person that I know. Aside from my mama, hard as fuck when I'm getting the dough. Do it for my mama. Hall of Fame is where I'm about to go. Work it, that song got so when you say my name, you watch your tone. It's green, but Rihanna. Stop just to see you looking back in the mirror. This is the art of a woman when they vanish, start to holler. So far gone, for I found me, you can see it in my eyes.
Kamusta? What's up? Teka lang, share nga natin sa ano. Elrod from Isabela. Layo ah. Shout out Kuya Mark from Bulacan. Yung pa. Grabe. Iba yung level ni price dito, promise, sa barcode 2 kumpara sa barcode 1.
If it ain't about the milk, it ain't for real. Ang daming tanong, minsan nakakalito, kahit saan tumingin.
Go sa mga lyrics ko na adik ko sa dope sa stress meron akong connection parang smart at globe. Kada perang pinapasa naka-load Balbas sa mukha, yeah, cause I'm goat
Eat it up, eat it up, eat it up like it's a wet kitty cat. Serve it up, lemon na lemon. Eat it up, eat it up, eat it up like it's a wet kitty cat. Serve it up, then make him eat it up like lemon na pagsisay ang bumit. Ballin', lemon na lemon. Eat it up, eat it up, eat it up like it's a wet kitty cat. Serve it up, then make him eat it up.
Ayun, wala. Ayun guys. Thank you. Thank you so much. Eat it up, eat it up, eat it up like it's a wet kitty cat. Serve it up, then make him eat it up like lemon na pagsisay ang bumit. Ballin', lemon na lemon. Eat it up, eat it up, eat it up like it's a wet kitty cat. Serve it up, then make him eat it up like lemon na pagsisay ang bumit. Ballin', hit that shit like bra, bra. Eat it up, eat it up, eat it up like it's a wet kitty cat.
Apa?
Zip ties. Uy. Oswald. Bakit dilaw ang suot nito? Ay ano, green suot nito.
Walang imposible kaya kong gawin. Kaya mong gawin, pues kaya nyo gawin. Yeah. Huwag mo nang ipagpaliban na dapat di ka mapigilan. Kung may mali, huwag mo nang pagsisihan. Kailangan mong isihan, may liwanag din sa kadiliman. Tadhana ay mapagbiro, basta't diretso lang at huwag ka naliliko. Hindi ka dapat tumingin sa nilakaran ng iba. Sa lupa ang iyong paa kahit lumilipad ka na. Kaya tanggalin ang negatibo sa isipan. Gawin realidad lahat ng napanaginipan. Buhay maikli, kaya dapat pag-igihan. Maging tanyag bago sa mundo na to lumisan. Kaya bakit ka pahihinto kung bawat hukay mo sa lupa ay may ginto? Huwag kang matakot na mabigo kung bawat hukay mo sa lupa ay may ginto. Yeah. Walang imposible kaya kong gawin. Kaya mong gawin, pues kaya niyong gawin. Walang imposible kaya kong gawin. Kaya mong gawin, pues kaya niyong
Ano tayo,
gawin. Yeah. Walang
mag-minutes
imposible
na
kaya
lang
kong
kayo
gawin.
guys. Tapos ako magbabahay-bahay na lang ako dito. Hello, Team Go?
Hello.
Anybody there?
Knock, knock.
Meron.
Copy.
Ayan.
Who's there?
Pwede na kayo mag-unfollow mga guys. Genji. Dito na lang kayo sa Minas.
Saan ba ako
Dito na
ba?
lang ako baba. Mag-Minas na lang kayo. Minas. Ito. Ito.
Minas
Hindi yan,
ba
hindi
o
yan. Wag
Bali?
yan. Del Sur. Ito, Minas Del Sur, guys.
Del Sur.
Wag sa Bali. Delikado doon. Pwede na kayo mag-unfollow sa akin.
Minas del Valle kasi yung sunod eh.
Shoutout kay paring
Wag yan.
Chris.
Delikado. Yes. Sige.
May sumasabay ba dito sa Valle del Mar?
Wag kayong bababa dyan. Meron nga, wag.
Ala,
Wag.
bitin ako.
Wag yan. Wag yan, Bali. Ano, meron. Delikado dyan.
Tangina.
Ay, hindi. Ano eh.
Para
Si OC, man. Yung registered.
Kikita ko pa rin
Tama ko
yung
na lang
pangalan
kasi
ng ano. Na-deploy ko yung sobrang aga yung parachute ko, mga idolo. Puti.
Dito na. Bye-bye na lang tayo, Chris West.
Okay.
Wag bali, guys.
10 years ako dito sa taas. Diyos ko.
Ayun, ang building, Chris West. Maganda yan, yung left side
Okay.
na building.
Thank you.
Pare.
10 years na ako dito. Kunin ko na lang yung Coke RV niya dyan. Ha ha ha. My name is Chicky. Chicky, Chicky, Chicky.
Ayun, dalawa kayo. Kuhanan niyo yung minas, guys. Oy, Kenji, wag ka na mag-loot dyan. Magminas na kayo,
My
Kenji.
name is Chacha.
Ay, wag
Ito,
na
ito,
yun.
ito.
Cha-cha-cha.
Oo. Ayan o, sasakyan. Sama kay ni Merong. Doon sa may mark ko, Kenji. Maganda naman loot dyan.
My name is Chicky. Chicky, Chicky, Chicky.
Huwag kayo magpipriso na. Nandyan sila.
Clap, clap, cha-cha-cha.
Huwag priso na. Yes, buds?
My name is...
Ay, di ko alam yung daan.
Baka mag-priso.
Bom, 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 bom. Ako na.
Ito yung daanan ko, ya. Okay.
Direct.
Hindi ko alam yung
Bigyan mo kay
daanan.
Merong. Si Merong, kabisado yata ni Merong.
My name is bom, 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 bom.
Delikado kasi dun sa ano, valley. Masarap sana mag-loot dun, marami kaso. Baka
Sana, oo.
galitan tayo ni Buds.
Ba't dito ka kasi dumaan? Dito tayo sa kabila dapat.
Ayun.
Oh, yan,
Dito
tama,
pala
tama.
yan.
Sige, matagal pa naman nung ano.
Oh! Tarzan.
Layo ng zone sa ano natin ah. Meeting place. Kailangan natin magkalot ng ano. Bilisan yung maglot. Para ano. Baka ano, kapusin tayo sa mga panghil na naman.
Let's go. Tigas ah. Kunyero. Lo. Yawa. Hindi.
Yes.
Dalo na on dalawang gas ha.
Yes, buds. Okay naman kami. Walang kalaban. 44 ako, buds.
Look, NG. Yung barrel na hawak ko. Hindi barrel. Crossbow.
Sundin ko na nga to si Chris Wish.
Ako, crossbow na naman.
Buds, may nagloot sa may gasoline station, buds. Diyan sa may right side nyo. Ah, wala sa team. Sige. Sa amin na lang yun ni Chris West. Tara, Chris West. Lutan natin yun.
Sige. Teka lang. May mga barrel dito. Teka lang.
Saan na yan, Valley? Chris West? Sige lang, sige lang.
Dami
May
dito.
gas pa dun,
Gusto mo dito?
Last na bahay na to, Chris West. Nalutan ko na yung iba dito.
Ah.
Yung ibang bahay. Ito. Doon tayo sa may gasoline station, Chris West.
Okay.
Dito sa may lagpas ng Losigos. Sunod na lang kayo doon ha. Kenji, meron.
Copy.
Roger that.
Naka RB kami, buds. Dadaan kami. Baka maparil ka.
Pamparil kami ng mga trigger happy.
Magkama lang kaming ibon.
My name is Birdie. Ilaw. Ilaw, tubig. Oh my god. Ganyan 249 na nga lang ako. My name is Kenji.
Ay, sayay. Tumama pa. Ito, Wes. May sasakyan na tayo. Malapit na tayo sa lulutan natin.
Nice.
Ito. Lutan muna natin to, tapos dun sa may gasoline station. Magaganda rin dot dito. Sige. Guys, dala daw kayo ng smoke. Pang tapal natin mamaya. Dala ako ng gas guys. Kahit isa lang.
Enemies ahead.
May
I
apat
got
na ako dito.
supplies.
Meron na ako.
Apo,
Christmas.
sige.
Thank you.
West House Music.
Yung.
Oh, ba.
Kaya dito.
I got supplies.
Extra.
Ito may malulutan ba tayo?
Pulutin mo na.
Sa harap.
Meron na. 3x.
Meron na din ako.
Iwan mo na yun.
Okay. May dala na akong smoke 3.
Kung lutong gas.
May mga gamot ka na ba, Kench?
Bandage ko.
Buds 0-0 na Buds remind ko lang. Tapos Buds if ever saan tayo.
I got supplies.
Kunin ko. Yun, ano.
May madadaanan kayo ditong sasakyan na isa pa pick up
Hindi ko
Buds.
napansin.
Pag wala kayo. May kayo dyan, may sasakyan kayo dyan Buds na kaso dito may pick up. May pick up dito. Ano lang yan, bus lang yung sasakyan nyo dyan. Dito sa may tulay merong
May taas pa pala to, Kench, dito.
meron dito na isa pang sasakyan
Meron
na
dito.
nyo. Palit na lang kayo.
Ay, may
Marked a
Dito.
location.
Saan tayo Buds?
Marked
Baba
a
ng
vehicle.
Pick up.
Generales.
mas maganda to. Kaso lang,
Okay,
dalhin mo rin
okay,
kaya
copy.
yan. Para
4
pag
o'clock.
na-stock yung
Daling
pick
ko
up,
na rin
at
to.
least.
Sayang.
Oo.
Puno gas na ito.
Okay.
Sunod na ako sa
My name
kanila
is
kuya.
Bombom. Sige.
Yan nga, gets. Tama nga yung mark ko. Doon tayo sa mark ko Kenji,
Mark.
tsaka merong
Apa.
Copy.
Roger.
may madadaanan kayo
Isa
dyan sa
copy,
sasakyan.
isa Roger.
Pick up.
Wait.
Wala tayong pangil. Bandage lang. Bands mo na kami ni Jesus Laki ng biyahe natin, Jesus. Wala tayong pangil.
Ay, meron ako. May 3 ako. Bigyan kita.
Sige ayun. Kahit isa lang mamaya na lang, Jesus.
Sige,
Pasok
sige.
na lang muna tayo. Tumbukin na lang muna natin tong nasa mark. Gasoline station may sasakyan. Meron dyan Buds, isa pa. May isa pa dyan May bubong yan, may bubong.
Medyo mabagal yung pick up parang palyado
Lugi.
Lakas pa kumain ng crudo. Oh? Shit. Lugi. Oh. Kung kailangan ko na mag-gas Uy, ba't may van dito?
Doon na lang tayo mag-loot, Quiz West. Wala tayong
Okay.
pangin.
Sige.
Kung ano makakabuti.
Malapit na kami sa destination, Buds. Ah.
Sana all destination. Sana all destiny.
Nako po.
Quiz West, wala kang ano? Wala
Bandage?
kang bandage.
Wala,
ka,
dinrop
baka
ko
may-
eh.
Oo.
Dinrop.
Dinrop mo?
Dinrop ko eh,
Hindi,
para
kasi ano eh,
makuha
wala
ko
kang
yung,
buhay.
ano,
Okay, meron. May bandage ako.
first aid.
Hindi, sige lang. Okay lang, okay lang. Siya kasi ano, mababarag. Malapit na rin pala kang.
May 30 ako dito.
Ikaw din, Kenji, magbabarag ka din, hindi. Uy, ang render. Ala, daming kalaban. Hii! Iba kulay.
Lagot.
Alis na kayo dyan, alis na. Buds, nandito na kami ha. Sa may Generales, sa may ano. May
Ang
mga
dami,
kasalubong
iba-iba
daw
kulay.
kayo, bandang iba-ibang kulay?
Iba-iba kulay. Iba-ibang kulay.
Ah.
Halo-halo.
Dito na kami.
Iba
Sa
kulay,
may
iba
Los
kulay.
Leones
Ito, bro.
daw. Ibang kulay daw.
Drop ko to isa.
Isa lang kay Swiss. Oh, thank you. Gasan ko lang tong sasakyan natin.
May gas din dito sa harapan ko.
Kuhanin ko na rin. 4 yung dala kong gas.
Ayun pala.
Baka mamaya, magkulang-kulang kasi.
Roadside, sa road sila. Nasa road sila.
I got supplies.
Papalit ako ng pickup.
Buds,
Alaws na gastong akin. Yun,
yes,
puno.
Buds. Wait lang guys, nako.
Takasan ko lang sila.
Sige lang, Buds.
Dami. Gagi.
Okay, 4 o'clock na lang daw.
Dito na ako.
Kanan ng patron. Itong parang dalawang bahay, Buds, warehouse. O yung baba. Okay, taas ng N. Okay, copy.
Nag-off-road na ako para lang makahabol. Ang sakit.
Doon daw
Ray,
tayo
meron
sa
kang
Mark,
ano? Ray, meron kang throwables.
Teka lang. Anong klase?
Ito, bigay ko tong...
Smoke.
Ito, saka smoke. Gusto
sige,
mo?
sige.
Drop. Yan.
Sige, Kiss West. Okay lang. Yan, thank you. Maluwag-bag ko eh. Wala akong masyadong loot.
Sa akin kasi puno na eh.
May A-car dito.
I
oh.
got supplies.
Walang laman, gas lang.
Kunin ko yan.
98.
Hindi, dalawa na lang pala.
Ayan, kinuha ko na. Pero may SKS dito kung sino may gusto.
Nag-loading screen yung PUBG ko.
Yun lang. 8 seconds guys
Hala.
Nasa pinaka na kami, Buds. Nasa pinaka Generalis na kami dun sa may sinabi mo, sa may sa may parang bahay na
Ba't parang ang taas ng MS ko? 147.
Biglang naglag din sa akin.
Si Merong naiwan, Buds nasa siya, pa-S siya ng Los Leones, Buds. Kasi siya, naglo-loading. Tara guys, pasok na tayo. Okay. Pasok na tayo. Sige, kahit... Diretso na lang. Ito pala, sana lang. Sige, Kenji, una ka na, Kenji.
Naglag.
Mataas nga yung MS, kahit kay Buds, mataas daw. 142 na sa akin. 112. Tumataas, bumababa, tumataas.
Parang spaghetti taas baba Nice. Ang dami nila kanina doon sa roadside. Buti na lang hindi ako dun dumaan, kundi yatap.
Yata.
Bawas na kayo ng isa. Puti yata yun na doon eh, not sure not sure sa kulay. Hala, wala ko, I need rescue.
Pag may nakita kayong kalaban pa, enemies ahead ha guys.
Copy.
At sa junkyard kayo dumaan.
Malapit na tayo. Oh, nagre-render. Malapit na ba kayo, Buds?
Render ako.
Oh, may kalaban yata.
Kalaban
dito.
yan.
Teka lang, may kalaban dito.
295.
Ito, may kalaban.
Iwasan nyo para
Ay, kayo pala yan, Buds. Wag, kakampihan sila, Buds yata yan. Sorry, Buds. Sabi nyo kasi wala pa kayo, Buds eh. Sorry. Nakano ko, ulo ko, Buds eh, malayo. Sorry. Wala pa naman na silang sasakyan. Sige. Bigay nyo na lang ang RB, Kenji. Sorry, Buds. Sorry sa akin. Nakano lang kasi ako, Buds. Oo nga, sorry sa akin, Buds. Sorry. Kaya tinanong kita kasi may nakita ako. Wala, Buds, nakahulo. Wala kami doon eh, ni Sir West, nagbahay-bahay lang kami. Sige, kayo naman drive.
May pick up ako dito. Baka gusto nila pick up.
Ito, may pick up pa raw, may pick up pa isa. Sa kanila lang yung RB. Ito may pick up na, Buds, may palit na sa sasakyan nyo. Itong bagong dating.
Enemies ahead.
Itong bagong dating. Sorry, Buds, sorry. Kaya nagtanong ako eh bago ako pumutok eh. Sorry. Let's go.
Walang daanan.
Hindi lang ako.
Hindi, sorry. Sa akin talaga yan. Sige. Sino ba susundan ko? Sige. Eto, sundan na lang natin yan sila, Buds. Ito sila, Buds.
Oo, yun sa akin. Naka-RV ako eh.
Buti na lang narinig ko na baba. Ayun, buti. Kaya hininto ko. Sorry.
Render
Para render Render
Render.
okay to. Okay na to, pwesto na to. Uy, maganda, bilis. Tut. Please, pasok.
May nabaril sa
Uy,
likod.
parang may
may
bumabaril.
nang-snipe.
May bumabaril sa likod. May bumabaril na naka-sniper sa likod. Ayan na. Tara, may kalaban sila. Nagdalag, guys. Ang taas ng MS.
Putik.
305 daw. Ridge.
May magandang pwesto dito.
Marked a location.
234 MS ako. Ang taas na MS ko.
Parehas tayo. Parehas tayo.
200 plus. Ang lag.
Meron pa raw.
Hala, hindi na gumalaw.
Sa akin din, 200.
Makilot tayo sa kanila. 200 na rin. 180, 212,
Nagre-red ping ako.
219.
Sniper lang.
Walang
Hanapin yung
iya.
sniper.
Putik, wala din.
Baka may extra scope. Wala eh. Ay, meron si
Buggy.
Dishes yata.
Bagay.
Norem ako dito, madami. Norem ako, pero pang sariling gamit ko lang.
Nice.
Sabog.
Kenji, ikaw na naman, Kenji.
Nahabol pa yun.
Loot. M249, no?
Ba't ang taas ng MS, no? Sobrang Guys, na tayo? Medyo angat tayo ng konti para di tayo.
Wala sa ayos, ang lag.
Ang taas, sobrang taas ng MS. Sobra. Grabe. Out of zone tayo, Buds. Remind ko
Kanina
lang.
okay naman.
Okay.
Bigla na lang
Tara, una na raw tayo. Pasok tayo sa zone. Doon tayo sa sasakyan. Baba daw ng water treatment daw. Sa M, Bud, sa M. Baba daw ng letter M. Baba ng letter M. Tara. Naku po, grabe lag ko. Red ping ako, red ping.
Ako din eh.
MS.
Sa akin din.
271. Alo, Buds. Hindi na magalaw, Buds.
Ako din. Naglalag. Ba't
Hindi
kaya?
na Hindi ko alam kung Isus.
Ako magdadrive sa inyo.
3 o'clock na lang daw, 3 o'clock guys, 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock na lang daw.
May ano?
Watch out!
May ano.
Ano tawag dito? Nagbakbakan. May smoke?
Watch out! Watch out!
Wag naman.
Uy.
Baba guys, baba. Hindi na. Baba. Marami doon ha. Marami sa 275 guys. 275. Nasa 3 o'clock na kami, buds.
Unlag. Tumatama pa rin.
Nga eh. Lag ako eh.
May kalaban sa taas, buds. 300 ah. 300.
Sana di ako tamaan.
Sige.
Muntik na ako.
Smoke. Babato ko smoke.
Kita tayo niyan. Bag rage yan.
Guys,
Grabe,
pa-
274.
Hindi tayo makapaglaro maayos. Sobrang lag. Nagbato na ako maraming smoke dyan ha. Nandun na sila, buds.
Nag-green yung ping.
Nandun na sila, buds. So, tulungan natin sila, buds. Okay, buds.
Mamaya na pag nag-green ping, sobrang lag. Ang bulok naman ang gumawa ng road.
Grabe, 281.
Uy!
Tyson, buds,
Uy, may
natin,
naggranada.
Ano yan?
Sino yun?
Ano yan?
May nagano.
Kalaban guys.
Laban ba yun?
Bigla lang tumama sa amin.
May nag-apoy sa amin.
Kalaban, HX.
Sa likod namin, ano? Dad, sa likod namin. Dad, sa likod namin, meron.
Sige.
May helix.
Marami.
Ay, putang ina mo, sobrang lag kasi.
Wala, hindi nga magalaw. 281, no? Tignan mo, para akong pabalik-balik ako.
251 ako.
Kung kailan patay
Guys,
na ako, biglang 6
buds,
CMS.
kanina, buds, yung 3 o'clock packet pa lang kami, naipit kami ng zip ties, buds, hindi sila makagalaw doon, buds. Kaya naipit na sila doon. Yung nag 3 o'clock
Lag
kami
pa rin ba
kanina.
kayo?
Okay,
Lag pa rin ba kayo?
eto, hindi na masyado. Okay na.
220 pa.
Gagi, kalaban pala to, guys! Pula! Putak. Kala ko kayo to, buds. Sorry.
Ang ina, ubus.
Nagulay pula. Ang layo ng tingin.
Kenji, nasa harap mo na. May ginawa yung room mo, gumagawa na room. Kasi pag
Buds, grabe naman sobrang lag. Bumabalik tapos ano,
babalik. Hinahanap ka na dito.
Yeah. Walang maniniwala pag ika'y nagsimula at pakiramdam mo minsan ay walang mapapala. Huwag kang titigil kahit ika'y nasa baba. Dapat masanay ka sa putik pag ikaw ay binaha. Yeah, minsan ang buhay pinagtitripan, pero lagi may pag-asa kung yung titignan. Maniwala sa sarili at pagbigyan, hanggang ang boss mo na ang pinakikinggan. Hayaan mong masugatan at lumuha, basta't huwag ka lang titigil hanggat di mo nakukuha. Subukang umakyat at umangat sa lupa, dahil pangarap mo ang akyatin ay nakakalula. Kaya bakit ka ba hihinto kung bawat hukay mo sa lupa ay may ginto? Huwag kang matakot na mabigo kung bawat hukay mo sa lupa ay may ginto. Yeah, walang imposible kaya kong gawin. Kaya mong gawin, pues kaya niyong gawin. Walang imposible kaya kong gawin. Kaya mong gawin, pues kaya niyong gawin. Yeah, walang imposible kaya kong gawin. Kaya mong gawin, pues kaya niyong gawin. Yeah, walang imposible kaya kong gawin. Kaya mong gawin, pues kaya niyong gawin. Yeah, huwag mo nang ipagpaliban na dapat di ka mapigilan. Kung may mali, huwag mo nang pagsisihan. Kailangan mong isihan, may liwanag din sa kadiliman. Tadhana ay mapagbiro, basta't diretso lang at huwag ka naliliko. Hindi ka dapat tumingin sa nilakaran ng iba. Sa lupa ang iyong paa kahit lumilipad ka na. Kaya tanggalin ang negatibo sa isipan, gawing realidad lahat ng napanaginipan. Buhay maikli kaya dapat pag-igihan, maging tanyag bago sa mundo na to lumisan. Kaya bakit ka pa hihinto kung bawat hukay mo sa lupa ay may ginto? Huwag kang matakot na mabigo kung bawat hukay mo sa lupa ay may ginto. Yeah! Walang imposible kaya kong gawin. Kaya mong gawin, pues kaya niyong gawin. Walang imposible kaya kong gawin. Kaya mong gawin, pues kaya niyong gawin. Yeah! Walang imposible kaya kong gawin. Kaya mong gawin, pues kaya niyong gawin. Yeah! Walang imposible kaya kong gawin. Kaya mong gawin, pues kaya niyong gawin. Yeah! Walang imposible kaya kong gawin. Kaya mong gawin, pues kaya niyong gawin. Walang imposible kaya kong gawin. Kaya mong gawin, pues kaya niyong gawin. Yeah! Walang imposible kaya kong gawin. Kaya mong gawin, pues kaya niyong gawin. Yeah! Walang imposible kaya kong gawin. Kaya mong gawin, pues kaya niyong gawin. Yeah!
Walang imposible kaya kong gawin. Kaya mong gawin, pues kaya niyong gawin. Walang imposible kaya kong gawin. Kaya mong gawin, pues kaya niyong gawin. Walang imposible kaya kong gawin. Kaya mong gawin, pues kaya niyong gawin. Walang imposible kaya kong gawin. Kaya mong gawin, pues kaya niyong gawin. Walang imposible kaya kong gawin. Kaya mong gawin, pues kaya niyong gawin. Walang imposible kaya kong gawin. Kaya mong gawin, pues kaya niyong gawin. Walang imposible kaya kong gawin. Kaya mong gawin, pues kaya niyong gawin. Walang imposible kaya kong gawin. Kaya mong gawin, pues kaya niyong gawin.
Nakapis ay dating mga nakangarat. Man, now we make it rain. Ganto kami magalat. Bawat pamagat may featuring na alamat. Ako'y parang watawat, tinitingala. Tuloy sa pag-angat, pag hinihila pababa. Yung break na aking kinagat, di na nakawala. Kaya di na inaalat anumang hinahanda. Siyang na beses nadapa, 10 beses tumayo. Pinasimento ko yung mga nadaanan kong bako. Ano man ang mangyayari ay kampante na ako. Abot yung kayamanan sa apo ng apo ko.
Kinain ko lahat pero di pa ako nasolve. Kada hataw ko malayo parang palo ko sa golf. Buhay ko laging sugal pero di ako nag-fold. Rolex sa aking kamay, literal na times gold. Balbas sa mukha, yeah, kusang goat sa mga lyrics ko na addict. Kusang dope sa stress meron akong connection parang smart at globe. Kada perang pinapasa naka-load. Uutak mapurol nung bata sa kalsada ko na hinasa. Sa kita ikay malabo kaya di mo ko mabasa. Nakatikim na ng tagumpay, iba aking panlasa. Kinuha ko ang bread nang hindi ako nagmas.
I got my mind on my money, money on my mind. Chill lang sa probinsya after sa Manila mag-grind. Karera ko ay smooth, maingat mag-drive. Walang hate sa katawan, cause love will keep us alive. Don't be kasama ang big gang. Mala James, yup.
pinakamabisa. Iba ang datingan, di pangkaraniwan. Lalo pag nakita mo ng malapitan. Kasi iba talaga, grabe ang ganda. Binibining pinakamabisa.
Muntik na kitang sambahin na parang malasantong anghel. Ang ganda mo'y nakakakumaling na nakuha.
Uy! Shoutout. Thank you. Shoutout kay Buds. Thank you. Ako yung nag-ano lang dito. Nagre-reminisce. Naalala ko yung Banda Days ko eh. Pinapanood ko tong Kamikaze. Nasa ano sila eh. Dubai Expo. Nakakamiss na.
Cosmos is absolutely free. I have so many samples. No, really.
Pwede mo namin kayo mo itang tumatalon? Pwede?
Nice.
I love how that sounds in the background there. Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Haven't won a Grammy yet. So that's what we got today. Let's go. I know it's after Christmas. I feel like it needs to stay up till the end of December. Let's get into making this beat. Okay, I really like that, but I didn't record it. This is a function in Logic to actually bring up what you just played. Okay, let's see if I can get a good guitar melody over top of that piano.
What's the #1 secret to making a hit song? Most producers think it's fancy studio equipment, special mixing and
Spot. Okay, so now we have the timing of this guitar down, which, like I said, is a part of mixing, making things sound how you... What I'm doing right now is a little bit of mixing, right? This guitar didn't come at the right spot. Okay, so now we have the timing of this guitar down, which, like I said, is a part of mixing, making things sound how you want it to sound. So this is what we got.
Oi, Azir, how are you? Thanks for liking, bro.
There's something just so great about putting a kick in. Picked a lot of drum samples that sound like lo-fi drums, right? We have alternating velocities in these drums, which gives it like that live feel for lo-fi. If we used a bunch of weird like synths and tried to make lo-fi drums with EDM drums, it wouldn't sound right. So a lot of mixing is sound selection. For lo-fi, you want ambience, right? So now we're adding elements that are like not as present, maybe like in the back. We'll just take the bass line, that's gonna be on. We only want the best bird sounds here in this beat. Come on, people. A nice soft little percussion, and that's gonna be on our left side, just to like balance it out, but also to keep like the listener's ears engaged. We'll just take the bass line of these chords right here. Okay, so we got a really deep sub bass in there. You guys probably really can't even hear it because it's so low. Okay, now we have this beat, obviously not arranged yet. Perfect. Okay, now we'll take our snare. In this case, it's like a rim. Forces behind every song. Let's start with just bringing up our kick. And I barely want it to be hitting like yellow on the main master fader. Perfect. Okay, now we'll take our snare. In this case, it's like a rim. And I'm bringing that up just a little bit below the kick. This is what I do next, and I think this is so important. I'll start to bring in my main melody elements, but while I do that, I make sure always that the melody does not drown out the kick. So the kick and snare should be very audible to me, even through this piano. So I'm bringing this piano up just to the point where I can hear it pretty well, but it's not overtaking my kick and snare. And for like super beginners, notice how we're only hitting at -9 dB right now, right? We're not peaking, nothing's that loud yet. So I brought in another element now, and it's still not louder than my kick and snare, which is good. And now let's bring in our bass. All right, phone died, but we're back. So like I said, level everything. So now this is our final mix. Perfect. Okay, so we're hitting about -7 dBs, -6 dB. You want to give yourself a pretty good amount of room so you can bring up the volume the right way, the proper way. That's what mastering is. Mastering is just bringing up volume the right way. Okay, so usually when I would master, I would bounce this project, right? I would arrange this out, I'd bounce it, and get the one singular file. Okay, so I'm gonna bring these plugins one by one. So I'm gonna start with the glue compressor, just a little bit of compression. You don't need to use the glue compressor. If you don't feel like buying it, you can use a stock compressor that comes in your DAW. I just use a preset. I have no problem using presets, so this is what we get with just a little bit of compression. Next thing I use to get some loudness and also some more compression is OTT, just a tiny bit of it. Now we can see we're at -2 dB. Next up I use is the Ozone 9 Imager. Ozone honestly might be free. Don't quote me on that, but I think I heard that somewhere. What a stereo imager does, right, is it can spread out or keep things in the middle. So I keep my low end in the middle. As you can see, if we solo this out, is what I like. I like my bass and my kick straight in the center, right? Okay, so as we work up in frequency, especially up high here, this is how wide it's getting. So it's kind of filling up our stereo image, but we already did a lot of things that contribute to the stereo image with, you know, panning our percussion left and right. Maybe we used like a delay. I didn't this time, but use a delay that gets it to -0.1 dB, so you don't. Last thing is a limiter. So a limiter is bringing up volume while limiting it to -0.1 dB, so you don't peak. So with a limiter, basically I'm just trying to get some nice little, I listen to it on my phone. Okay, how does it sound on my phone? Maybe like the guitar is like distorting through the perfect. To a mastering, pre-save that, click the link, pre-save it on.
Mixing rap vocals from scratch. Appreciate the rhythm. Go to input 13, and then I'm going to be monitoring vocal mic. So I figured it would be a good example. I'm going to turn off compression on my preamp today. Most of you are not utilizing a hardware compressor. That's perfectly fine. I am going to record with a software compressor just because I like to hear how that compression is going to interact with my dynamics in that sense. And it's also just easier to record this way, kind of keeps things in check. So I'm going to go ahead and activate the input monitoring, and I'm going to turn off monitoring on my interface here. So we're monitoring directly through Logic. At this point, you're going to see as I drop this threshold, we're going to get more compression. So I don't want a lot of compression on this, just something to kind of control it. We're going to keep the ratio low. Again, we're not mixing right now. This is just part of our recording process. 3-to-1, and check 1 2, check 1 2, check 1 2, check 1 2, check 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 check. I'm recording this a little bit louder just for the video's sake so you all can hear me while I'm talking. But you're going to want to record your that far off from that. But just to note, a little bit of compression, check 1 2, check, 3 4 5 dB. That should be about right. I'm going to keep the release pretty fast attack. Should be in pretty good shape here to start recording. I do need to grab my phone because I don't know these lyrics. From preferences for audio is set to create take folder. All right, so I got my lyrics on my phone here, and we're going to go ahead and just set our cycle up here to where we want to start. We'll have a little bit of a lead-in time. I want to make sure our overlapping track recordings from preferences for audio is set to create take folder, because I'm going to do some takes if needed. I don't know if I'll mess up. If I make it through the first time, I'll be very surprised, but we'll wait and see. I am going to turn the beat down while I'm recording just so I can hear myself. Let's go ahead and check that. Yeah, I escaped the nightmare. No, life is not fair. Please don't try to do it all by yourself. No, life is not fair. Please don't try to do it all by yourself. Yeah. Yeah, I escaped the nightmare. No, life is not fair. Please don't try to do it all by yourself. Never fill in all the holes while you're chasing all the wealth. And you can numb the pain with the trophies on the shelf. Staring in the eyes of a guy on the curbside, holding up a sign, thinking that he's out his mind. Maybe fine, or did he stop trying, or is he lying? I'm counting down the time just to speed through a stop sign, searching for love, it gets stranger. In a world filled with jealousy and anger, manipulated leaders, you caught the bait, ya. Don't know it all, but I know you're not my savior. Who am I to think? I'm just gonna duplicate it and do it one more time. Maybe fine, or did he stop trying, or is he lying? I'm counting down the time just on Savage. Let's go ahead and do some punches here, whatever you want to call them, in my vocals, but I'm going to go through that. Yeah, who am I to think for myself? Best roll with the crew or get gaslit, labeled erratic. If your approval isn't automatic, cold status, world gone savage. Right now, you know, we're in the recording stage, so everything sounds pretty muddy and I want to do a little bit of just gain staging, if you will, here before we jump into mixing. You hear this term thrown around excessively. You don't need to worry too much about it, but I do just want to optimize the recordings before we go into building this vocal chain. Like I said earlier, I like to get my layers to be, you know, around -25 LUFS, short-term integrated. That's just a nice kind of baseline to start sending into some of the processing. So to do that, I'm just going to bring the gain back on the region. Let's just measure it real quick and see. Nightmare, no, life is not fair. Please don't try to do it all by yourself. Nightmare, no, life is not fair. Please don't try to do it all by yourself. Never fill in all the... All right, so that's about right. About 8.5 dB back. I'm recording hotter just for the video, but I would have turned that back quite a bit prior to recording, but that's okay. We can make that adjustment. It's not like I was clipping my preamp or doing anything crazy like that. And again, once we're in the DAW, it's not a big deal. Go ahead and take these plugins off. I like to do, you know, kind of a vocal cleanup before I go into mixing, just because anything that's here in the signal in terms of noise, having to, you know, go in between all this and adjust that. But there is a quick way to do that if you don't utilize a noise gate. Just go ahead and double click the region, click functions, and you can go to this remove silence tab here. And then if you go and adjust that threshold, you'll see it'll just select where the signal is coming in, all that noise in between, it will be unselected. And if you just click OK, then it will clean up your regions in that way. I'll remove a couple of those little yeah and or whatever, just for me to kind of catch the beat. I don't need those in there. And then we're going to remove some of the endings here because those are unnecessary. I don't generally mix primarily in headphones. I do this for the video for you all. I'm usually on my monitors, but I have a pair of headphones, which are the DT700, that I'm just more comfortable with mixing wise. These are my favorites to track with. These are the HD25, but yeah, I feel more comfortable mixing in these. So let me swap those out. All right, headphones swapped out. Now I'm going to go up here to preferences. And like I said before, we want to raise this buffer size so that once we get into the mixing process, we can have more CPU to use our plugins and do all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to switch it to 512. That should be good. A couple of good practices in terms of organization and also just creating track outs and things at the end would be to create some VCAs. So I'm going to send our 2-track in this case to a VCA, but if you had, you know, multi-tracks, you would send all those to, you know, 1-beat VCA for any kind of gain staging that you need, or if you need to make an adjustment. And then we're also going to send all of our vocals to the same bus because we're going to process all these through the same vocal chain, just going to give us more consistency. So I'll send those to bus 1, and we're going to call this vocal chain. Now what we want to do is just get our core leveling down. So before we start talking about any plugins or anything in terms of our vocal chain, we want to get a general feel for how these layers are going to sit in terms of the core mix. Bring all the faders down, and I'm going to bring that beat back up. Let's put a low latency maximizer or a limiter on the master bus. Before we start mixing, I talk about this a lot. It's helpful to mix into a limiter or a maximizer just to get an idea of how that's going to interact with our signal. The mix is going to be hitting a maximizer at some point. So we're just going to park the ceiling at just below 0. Again, this is a 2-track beat, so it's already maximized to some extent. I'm going to change the profile to lean and mean. It's just a cleaner sort of algorithm here in L3.
Yeah, I escaped the nightmare. No, life is not fair. Please don't try to do it all by yourself. Never fill in all the holes while you're chasing all the wealth.
Nice. All right. Let's go.
Hello, it's me.
Yung. Meron.
Hindi na tayo mag... Nako po. Mukhang mataas uli ko isa.
Oo nga eh. Ba't
Oo,
kaya?
182, 185. Taas nga. Ang taas na ito. Buds, ngayon lang nangyari to. Malag pa rin ah.
Oo nga, 300 sa akin.
Hindi ko alam bakit. Di kaya may
Asia ba to?
naka-VPN? Walang iya.
Asia ba to?
Napasok tayo na naka-VPN. Oo, quiz. Asia to eh. Saan tayo, Buds? Wait lang mga guys. 200, 172, 180. Wait lang guys ha, nakaupa ko. Saan tayo, Buds? Go lang. Ala, layo. Fish ko ba, Buds? Ang layo namin, Buds. Hindi ko alam kung saan kami bababa, Buds. Nasa dulon-dulo kami. Baka mag-fish ko ba kami. Depende. Kung may kalaban o wala. Oo nga, Buds. Sobrang layo na namin, Buds. Ano tayo? Tsaka magpipish ko ba kami, guys? Sige. Para mag-aasama tayo.
Watch out!
Ang taas ng MS, guys. May kalaban? Mga guys?
Meron. May tawag dito.
Ayan, nag-80. Nag-80.
May
Watch
solo
out!
sa baba natin.
Kahit sa akin, guys, hindi naman nangyayari sa akin ganito kababa. Sabi mo, Buds, pag magre-roam tayo, Buds, ha? Magbahay-bahay na lang muna tayo, guys. Sobrang lag, guys. Bumaba na
May
sa inyo?
solo dito sa mark ko.
Okay.
209. Taas pa rin.
Mataas, malag. May naka-VPN yan, pre.
Tansya. Ayun ang tansya ko lang. Kasi hindi dapat...
Hindi. Oo,
Grabe
hindi
naman
dapat
yung
ganito
lag.
to eh. Asia naman eh. Pag ito, yun pa rin at yun pa rin. Ibig sabihin, sure na to sila ito naka-VPN. Never pa nangyayari to sa COC sa totoo lang. Ganito kalag.
Labas daw, guys.
Labas?
Okay. Mag-nade na lang daw tayo. Hindi, mag-nade na lang daw muna. Para makita daw ng mga... Wag daw magpatayan. Para makita raw na naggranada tayo.
Ay, wala. May pinatay na si Pops Promil eh.
Natin nuluyan na niya.
$205 ang taas na MS, puta.
Guys, pag may nakita kayong granada, sabihin nyo ha. Magpakamatay na tayo.
Bomba na ba?
Tara na.
Meron ako
Kasi
gas can. May gas can ako.
Ayun, gas na lang. para daw makita ng mga ano, ng mga players na nagpasabog tayo. Nasaan ka na, Merong? Tara, Merong. Dikit ka na dito, Merong. Ito na
Ako
lang,
yung
pwede
may dala
naman
ng
yata
gas
ito eh. Magpasabog ka na lang.
Oh, tangina, patay
Unlock
sila.
package.
Nagpakasabog. Boom. Ay, ang tibay mo, Merong.
Kaya pang piso.
Immortal ako.
Immortal ka.
Ngayon pa.
Nagpasabog na rin si Hehe. Naggaranada rin siya. Magano muna tayo, TDM.
Okay.
Oh my, immortal ako.
And you can numb the pain with the trophies on the shelf. Staring in the eyes of a guy on the curbside, holding up a sign, thinking that he's out his mind. Maybe fine, or did he stop trying, or is he lying? Yeah. Yeah, I escaped the nightmare. No, life is not fair. Please don't try to do it all by yourself. Never filling all the holes while you're chasing all the wealth. And you can numb the pain with the trophies on the shelf. Staring in the eyes of a guy on the curbside, holding up a sign, thinking that he's out his mind. Maybe fine, or did he stop trying, or is he lying? I'm counting down the time just to speed through the stop sign, searching for love, it gets stranger in a world filled with jealousy and anger.
All right, you still with me? Time to dive into building our vocal chain. So we've got everything routed to this aux here.
Big dog status, I'm a big dog vet. I pull up on the block in a big Corvette. Yeah.
And we're going to be utilizing Studio Rack, which is a Waves plugin chainer. If you want to utilize the plugins outside of Studio Rack, that's perfectly fine. This is just a very powerful way to build chains. First thing I'm going to do is just go ahead and add some type of utility EQ just so that we can get rid of a lot of this stuff that we don't need. So I'm going to use this new SSL EV2. Those of you who own the SSL 4000 plugins, this is a free update. So I just got this, and it has a little bit different sound than the normal SSL channel. But let's go ahead and do some carving on the EQ section of this, just to get rid of a lot of this mud and murk. So we'll use the filter first. I'm going to raise this up to about 100 or so.
Yeah. Nightmare, no, life is not fair. Please don't try to do it all by yourself. Never filling all the holes while you're chasing all the wealth. And you can numb the pain with the trophies on the shelf. Staring in the eyes of a guy on the curbside, holding up a sign, thinking that he's out his mind. Maybe fine, or did he stop trying, or is he lying? I'm counting down the time just to speed through the stop sign, searching for love, it gets stranger in a world filled with jealousy.
So you're going to notice as I'm going through this, I'm going to be making some level changes, because every time we compress or EQ, it does kind of change the balance a little bit and the nature of it. So you're going to constantly be doing some tweaks. It's not a set it and forget it sort of thing when we're building a vocal chain. That's perfectly okay. But that sounds pretty good to me, you know, in terms of that initial filtering. I don't want to filter too much out of my vocal just for this. Stylistically, you may want to have, you know, a little bit more cut down there, but I think that feels pretty good. Now we definitely need to do something about that like 250 mud and murk in there.
Nightmare, no, life is not fair. Please don't try to do it all by yourself. Never filling all the holes while you're chasing all. Nightmare, no, life is nightmare. No, life is not fair. Please don't try to do it all by yourself. Never filling all the holes while you're chasing all the wealth. And you can numb the pain with the trophies on the shelf. Staring in the eyes of a guy on the curbside, holding up a sign, thinking that he's out his mind. Maybe fine.
And I'm also going to take out a little bit of 2K just because it sounds a little bit hard.
Nightmare, no, life is not fair. Please don't try to do it all by yourself. Never filling all the holes while you're chasing all the wealth. And you can numb the pain with the trophies on the shelf. Staring in the eyes of a guy on the curbside, holding up a sign, thinking that he's out his mind. Maybe fine, or did he stop trying, or is he lying? I'm counting down the time just to speed through the stop sign, searching for love, it gets stranger in a world filled with jealousy and anger, manipulated leaders.
All right, so I think that's a good core tone. We removed a lot of the mud. You saw I've got a notch here on the low frequency at 150, taken some 200 out, and then I took a little bit of 2K, which 2K to 3K tends to be kind of a rough sort of nasally frequency in vocals. you may want to pull out more or less than I did, just depending on the voice. It's an important thing to note about EQing is, every voice is going to be EQ'd a little bit different. You're going to want to get a different tone out of it. It's all good. I'm also going to dial in this mic control, give us a little bit of that vintage mic pre sort of heat.
Nightmare, no, life is not fair. Please don't try to do it all by yourself. Never fill in all the holes while you're chasing all the wealth. And you can numb the pain with the trophies on the shelf. Staring in the eyes of a guy on the curbside, holding up a sign, thinking that he's out his mind.
Sounds good to me. So now let's go ahead and compress this. So why did I do that deductive EQ first? There's no reason for us to overwork our compressor. Let's try the CLA2A, which is just an LA2A sort of emulation. Important to listen to this in the context of the beat. Compression definitely on your vocals needs to be mixed in the context of the beat for the most part.
Nightmare, no, life is not fair. Please don't try to do it all by yourself. Never fill in all the holes while you're chasing all the wealth. And you can numb the pain with the trophies on the shelf. Staring in the eyes of a guy on the curbside, holding up a sign, thinking that he's out his mind. Maybe fine, or did he stop trying, or is he lying? I'm counting down the time just to speed through the stop sign, searching for love, it gets stranger. In a world filled with jealousy and anger, manipulated leaders, you caught the bait, ya. Don't know it all, but I know you're not my savior. Who am I to think for myself? Best roll with the crew.
When I put that compressor on there, I still think we've got some more mud and murk to control. This SM7B got a lot of low mids and mids to get it to kind of cut through, so still needs some control here. So I'm going to use a multi-band compressor. I think that will take care of a lot of that 500 sort of murk. So let me look for the C4, which is one of my favorite multi-band processors here. And I'm going to disable some of these other bands. We're just going to be focused in a certain area here. So from about 500 to 1K, maybe a little lower. Let's just solo that.
Nightmare, no, life is not fair. Do it all by yourself. Nightmare, no, life is not fair. Please don't try to do it all by yourself. Never fill in all the holes while you're chasing all the wealth. And you can numb the pain with the trophies on the shelf. Staring in the eyes of a guy on the curbside, holding up a sign, thinking that he's out his mind. Maybe fine, or did he stop trying, or is he lying? I'm counting down the time just to speed through the stop sign, searching for love, it gets stranger. In a world filled with jealousy and anger, manipulated leaders, you caught the bait, ya. Don't know it all, but I know you're not my savior. Who am I to think for myself? Best roll with the crew or get gaslit, labeled erratic. If your approval isn't automatic, post status, world gone savage.
I'm going to add actually another compressor to this just to kind of rein things in. And it'll probably be RVox just to give it a little bit more consistency. Let's see what that does.
Nightmare, no, life is not fair. Please don't try to do it all by yourself. Never fill in all the holes while you're chasing all the wealth. And you can numb the pain with the trophies on the shelf. Staring in the eyes of a guy on the curbside, holding up a sign, thinking that he's out his mind. Maybe fine, or did he stop trying, or is he lying? I'm counting down the time just to speed through the stop sign, searching for love, it gets stranger.
You're going to be compressing a rap vocal, more than some other styles. Some of you might consider this a lot of compression, but if you start to hear the compressor in a way that's unpleasing, then you've gone too far. Let's go ahead and set up a de-esser. I have been using Sibilance Live. This is a great de-esser, and we're just going to dial this in a little bit, and we're going to be feeding an EQ into it.
Nightmare, no, life is not fair. Please don't try to do it all by yourself. Never fill in all the holes while you're chasing all the wealth. And you can numb the pain with the trophies on the shelf. Staring in the eyes of a guy on the...
Okay, so now we're going to open up an EQ, and I'm a big fan of this Manny American EQ. It keeps opening up my plugins on the other screen, sorry. So let's pin this up here. We're going to use this in tandem with our Sibilance plugin. For the SM7B, this thing needs all the help it can get in the high frequencies and just the detail of the highs. So we're going to be doing some boosting, probably around 12K. Let's see.
Who am I to think for myself? Best roll with the crew or get gaslit, labeled erratic. If your approval isn't automatic, cold status, world gone savage. Who am I to think for myself? Best roll with the crew or get gaslit, labeled erratic. If your approval isn't automatic, cold status, world gone savage.
It sounds like we removed the blanket from our SM7B, which is great.
Yeah, I escaped the nightmare. No, life is not fair. Please don't try to do it all by yourself. Never filling all the holes while you're chasing all the wealth. And you can numb the pain with the trophies on the shelf. Staring in the eyes of a guy on the curbside, holding up a sign, thinking that he's out his mind. Maybe fine, or did he stop trying, or is he lying?
One of the best things about Studio Rack is that you can do these parallel splits and multi-band splits, meaning I don't have to create any kind of sends or auxes for reverbs and delays. It's very convenient just to do them right here in Studio Rack and have the same amount of control. So I'm going to go ahead and just activate a parallel split. And we're going to add that on and activate this, and this will function as our reverb. I like to solo the vocal and just get a feel for the character and the vibe of the space that we're creating first. And then we can dial it in terms of getting it sitting right with our beat.
Curbside, holding up a sign, thinking that he's out his mind. Maybe fine, or did he stop trying, or is he lying?
We definitely need to dampen it and just make it a little smaller. I don't want it to be washing out the vocal. And if you add too much reverb, reverb naturally just kind of takes the vocal back in the mix. So we don't want to do that necessarily here in this rap vocal. So let's dampen it and EQ it.
So one of the main things I like about Captain plugins is you can use these plugins as simply or as complex.
And turn the time and the size down.
The eyes of a guy on the curbside, holding up a sign, thinking that he's out his mind. Maybe fine, or did he stop trying, or is he lying? I'm counting down the time just to speed through the stop signs.
Let's use the Manny delay. I actually really like this delay as well. We're doing something more for just excitement and a little bit of width, so it's going to be a faster delay, maybe a 16th or an 8th.
Curbside, holding up a sign, thinking that he's out his mind. Maybe fine, or did he stop trying, or is he lying? I'm counting down the time just to speed through the stop sign, searching for love, it gets stranger. In a world filled with jealousy and anger, manipulated leaders, you caught the bait.
So adding that phaser as well as a little bit of reverb, some nice effects here in the Manny Marroquin delay. See what that sounds like.
The eyes of a guy on the curbside, holding up a sign, thinking that he's out his mind. Maybe fine, or did he stop trying, or is he lying? I'm counting down the time just to speed through the stop sign, searching for love, it gets stranger. In a world filled with jealousy and anger, manipulated leaders, you caught the bait, ya. Don't know it all, but I know you're not my savior.
So just kind of a slapback delay. That sounds pretty cool. Finally, I'm going to put a limiter on here. I like to use this just as good practice on vocals. We want to just squeeze a little bit extra out of our vocal and get it sitting on top here.
The eyes of a guy on the curbside, holding up a sign, thinking that he's out his mind. Maybe fine, or did he stop trying, or is he lying? I'm counting down the time just to speed through the stop sign, searching for love, it gets stranger. In a world filled with jealousy and anger, manipulated leaders, you caught the bait. Time just to speed through the stop sign.
Extra out of our vocal and get it sitting on top here.
The eyes of a guy on the curbside, holding up a sign, thinking that he's out his mind. Maybe fine, or did he stop trying, or is he lying? I'm counting down the time just to speed through the stop sign, searching for love, it gets stranger. In a world filled with jealousy and anger, manipulated leaders, you caught the bait, ya. Don't know it all, but I know you're not my savior. Who am I to think for myself?
Let's do a little bit of processing on this 2-track just to make it a bit more optimized. I'm going to use an EQ just to get rid of some of the extreme low end here. I'll just use the linear phase EQ, and I have a preset that just rolls off some stuff below 25 or so. It's just a little bit muddy down there, so we'll activate that. Now I'm going to use a dynamic EQ to create some space by sidechaining the vocal with the beat. I have showed this before, but if you're not familiar, it's a very helpful technique when you're using a 2-track beat mix. So I got the F6 open and we're going to be using it in sidechain mode. Our sidechain source up here is going to be our entire vocal bus. All right. And we are going to be controlling just a specific frequency band of our beat. So you'll hear in this second part. That pad and those chords are occupying a pretty big amount of space in the mix, you know, right there from like 1K to 2K. That's where we're going to be focused on, and I'll probably do 2 bands. We'll select band 4. I'm going to put this at about 1K, and let's just go ahead and solo that. All right, that sounds good. That's where a lot of our vocal presence is going to be. You're going to need to deactivate low latency mode because we are using side chaining now. So to get that to work in Logic, we need to turn that off.
Holes while you're chasing all the wealth, and you can numb the pain with the trophies on the shelf. Staring in the eyes of a guy on the curbside, holding up a sign, thinking that he's out his mind. Maybe fine, or did he stop trying, or is he lying? I'm counting down the time.
Band 5.
Counting down the time just to speed through the stop sign, searching for love, it gets stranger. In a world filled with jealousy and anger, manipulated leaders, you caught the bait, ya. Don't know it all, but I know you're not my savior. Who am I to think for myself? Best roll with the crew or get gaslit, labeled erratic. Your approval isn't automatic. Cold status, world gone savage.
Let's compare that with and without.
Searching for love, it gets stranger. In a world filled with jealousy and anger, manipulated leaders, you caught the bait, ya. Don't
Mas malala to, 432 ms to.
Hindi yan. Yan, okay.
Nice.
Nice. Okay. 48. Ay, si Buds lang pala ang ano eh.
Sakay na kayo sa Lamborghini ko.
Showtime!
Uy na, asan yung driver ko?
Ayaw
Tawagin
naman.
yung driver ko. Tawagin niya yung driver ko.
Ayaw.
Driver ako dyan eh.
Lugi, ayaw.
Nakakulay dilaw kaya yung driver ko. Asan yung driver ko dyan? Nakakulay dilaw yun eh, yung driver ko.
Hindi na, okay na Buds. 1 lang yung MS ko, 1.
Yan, okay na.
Oh, grabe na sobrahan naman yung
Oy.
Sobrang
Yan
bilis
na, yan
na.
na. Sabi ko na, dilaw yung driver ko eh.
Dito sabit kami.
Wait lang. Kunin ko muna kayo ah.
know it all, but I know you're not my savior. Who am I to think
Umusog
for
lang ng
myself?
konti.
Finally, we are going to set our maximizer or our limiter. You know, I brought the beat back -7.
Dating gawin, Buds.
You know, you may want to just leave this at
Okay.
0 and mix accordingly if you're not as concerned about gain staging and the way that you're
Pangit na pala
processing
yung
through
drop
the
zone
plugins.
kanina.
You can still get a good result
Dito
that
tayo
way,
tatalon.
but we did this kind of the safe way, which is fine. But we're gonna now bring the maximizer back up to bring everything to a you know, more commercial.
Pangit lang pala yung drop zone kanina, kaya
loudness.
pala rin.
Yeah. Yeah, I escaped the nightmare. No, life is not fair. Please don't try to do it all.
Takbo na lang ng very light.
Uy, shoutout kay J. Cristobal Texon.
Yung minsan nangyari kasi yun, pag matagal
Oo nga
na
eh.
sa room, talagang lumalabas talaga.
Ako din eh. Next time laro tayo.
Sige, kami na lang sige. Bolnova raw sila, Buds. Tayo ang magkakantra. Baka may sasakyan kayo nakikita, ha?
Kidad.
Kotse.
Hindi ako bababa ah.
Kotse.
Hindi ako bababa.
Sige.
Hindi ako
Konting,
bababa. Mamaya pagbaba
ano,
ko eh, ang layo-layo.
Alos.
Dito pa naman palaging lakad, puro takbo.
Takbo tayo ng ano. Wala talaga.
Oo, ito yung laro na puro ano, puro takbo lang eh. Hirap yung kotse. Kung meron, may naka-snowmobile, may ano. Ayun.
Medyo...
Sa kanan.
Ayun,
sa kanan, ayun, oh.
Enemies
Kasya.
ahead!
Yun,
Tayo ng mark.
Kantra.
Kenji, ba't ang bilis mo tumakbo?
Naka-ano ako yan,
Nakabilis mo tumakbo.
Naka-bear suit ako.
Wala Bads. Lahat kami.
Teddy bear.
Naka-boots of speed.
May kalaban sila Bads doon. Sige, diretso mo na merong. Nasa ball
Yeah.
number ako kalaban nila Bads.
Eh, ako sila din dad. Counter tayo.
Dito na lang tayo
usapan
merong.
eh.
Loot na tayo dito merong. Baka pa natin sila Bads. May kalaban sila Bads. One squad lang daw. Wait lang Bads. Kuha lang kami ng barrel. Diretso na kami dito.
Kawawa. Walang loot. Shotgun.
Andun na.
Shotgun na walang bala.
Tara. Baka pa natin sila. Ang daming sasakyan dito.
Yari.
Una na ako doon ha guys ha. Baka pa ko sila Bads.
Okay.
Nakwan daw.
Kaso lang, shotgun yung...
Shotgun din ng akin.
May sasakyan kayo dyan guys ha.
Meron nga po, meron. Pero shotgun? Duda ako. Duda ako sa kalagayan natin nito.
Ubus nyo na Bads.
Yari tayo dyan.
Kaya naman ba? Kaya nyo? O kailangan nyo pa ng backup? Guys. Okay.
Asan yung team nila Promil?
Pwede na siguro to.
Di raw ay, insta na raw. Tara. Ano na?
Kunin mo to, Kenji.
Okay na raw. Diretso na tayo kontra guys. Ubusan tayo ng loot.
Kunin mo to.
Ayun, kaya niya. Okay.
Sayang yan. Rare yan.
Okay na raw.
Endangered species yung ano. Endangered species yan dito sa ano, Bikendi. Yung kotse na yan. Madami dito yung kotse ni Mr. Bean eh. Ay.
Ay, nabunggo pa nga.
Narinig si Iggy ah.
Nasa ano eh, nasa Discord siya.
Uy, ba't open yung pintuan dito?
Oh, ingat ha, ingat. Meron ba?
Marked
Bukas?
an open door.
Oh, shh.
Ayun no, naka-open din
Marked
dito.
an open door.
Ano yan? Meron yan.
Ingat.
Pero hindi naman looted.
Wala. Kami yung dumaan doon, Bads. Kami yung dumaan doon.
Buo pa yung mga gamit sa loob.
Ano nakita nyo na,
meron.
guys?
Oh. Hindi nagalaw yung mga bala.
Pero looted.
Ay,
got
hindi.
supplies.
Spawn Island to. Spawn Island to. Ano yan? Talagang bukas yan. Kenj.
Normal
oo.
lang. Ganun.
Normal yan.
I got
normal yan.
supplies.
Dito tayo kanina eh. Nag-ano.
Kinabahan sila.
Okay.
Kahit ako, kinabahan ako. Nag-ano ako eh. Nangangapa ako eh. Kung may kalaban, wala eh. Ayop, pinakaba mo kami doon, Kenji ah.
Kinabahan din ako. Naka-open yung pintuan.
Sabi mo, may tao agad. Uy, times 6 oh.
Ay,
Kunin nyo na.
nauna ako dun.
Kilala nyo ako. Bison lang naman ako. Saan ka nakakita ng bison times 6?
May suppressor sniper ako.
Mamaya, pag may nakita ko sniper.
Akin na lang
naman
guys
ako.
na alara ko.
May sarili din ako times 6 eh. Kailangan niyo level 3 bag?
I got supplies.
Kailangan nyo to. G3
Level 3 bag sa akin ah. Ito, marking.
I got supplies.
We the best music. Ano
May
yun?
baril na
Bakit
ba kayo
ganun?
guys lahat? Ito meron pang ano to ha. G3. Dalawa to.
Pasok everyone ASAP. Ano yun? Ano yun? Ano yung nagsasend sa Discord?
Hindi ko alam eh. Bad 0-0 na bad sa remind ko lang.
Ang cute pala ng granada ko dito, dede ng baka.
I got supplies.
Kulit na itsura eh.
Yung dasha nyo malapit sa inyo guys. Team ko. Yung dasha nyo okay. Malapit sa inyo.
Iniwan ko lang dun, Dad. Dasha. Nagloot pa ako sa ito sa medyo malayo eh.
Sige, sige.
Kasi wala akong ano bala.
Magbibila tayo.
I got supplies.
Kakagaling ko na.
Panghil, marami tong panghil oh. 4x.
I got supplies.
Ang daming 556 dito.
I got
90.
supplies.
Dalawang
I got
panghil.
supplies.
Oo, 556 kailangan na. Natawa na lang si Yawa.
Nasaan ba? Nasaan yung sasakyan nyo? Teka lang. Hindi ko makita.
Dito guys.
Ayan pala, sige. Genji.
Dito.
Bads, susunod kami sa Bila. Okay. Bila daw tayo.
Pinitawan ko yung isang gas,
Sa
napakadaming
Nova,
gas
sa
na
Bil, ano Bolnova tayo, Villanova.
May gamot pa dito
I
guys.
got
Oh.
supplies.
First aid yan, first
Sinasabi
aid.
ko.
Baka kailangan nyo.
Sa Bila daw tayo. Kuy, saan kayo banda sa Bila? Kuy, from?
Bahala lang ng 5-5, Diyos ko. Sino to? Ah, si Dad pala to.
Diretso na, Kenji ah.
Dad, papunta na ako. Wait lang.
Ah, sige, sige.
Bababa na ako.
Daan natin sila, Bads. Di tayo pwede dumaan ng castle eh. Delikado.
Dalawa yung ano dun ah. Dalawa yung dasha dun, Dad ah. Kanila, ano, Pops.
Ayun ang di ko alam eh. Wala raw sasakin sila, Bads, kanina.
Dito, dalawa dasha dala
Yun,
namin
dito.
kanina dyan.
Marked a location.
Meron pa isa dito?
Yun dun, kanina sa Kantra, iniwan ko dun.
Ay baka kinuha na
Surrender,
nila ano. Eto, may sasakyan sa left side oh. Bads, may sasakyan na kayo, Bads? Nasa ano ba kayo? Dito sa Bolnova? Okay, sige bigyan ko na lang kayo.
Akin na, daling ko to. Para mapalitan yung kulay.
Ay, ikaw na lang. Ah, sige.
Oo.
Oo, bibigyan namin kayo isang sasakyan. Tara guys. Oo. Nasaan kayo banda? Ay wala naka-snowmobile sa amin. Nasaan na kayo? Nandito kami sa dulo. Sa may meron na kayo? Okay na. Sige, tara na raw.
Sayang yung isang kotse dun na ano. Genji, hindi nadala yung kulay blue. Yung una nating daan.
Naiwan.
Oo. Iniwan ko yun eh.
Dalawang dasha, isang ano, Sibra. Sige, bad.
Sibra. Ano Sibra?
Render. Oy, render.
Uy, delikado.
Grabe.
Render. Balik. Huwag
Hindi
tayo
ako
dito.
makaano.
Delikado.
Ala.
Render, balik.
Watch
Ayun na.
out! Watch out!
Ayun na.
Balik. Balik.
Naka ano yun, naka Lamborghini.
Oo, naka-Lamborghini.
Pupunta kami ng ano, Buds? Ng Bilya.
Just,
Naka-Lamborghini.
Lugi yung
Chris Prom,
ano
nandiyan pa rin
natin.
kayo? Nandiyan pa rin kayo, Chris Prom? Kayo. Sige, on the way na kami. Umikot kami, Buds. Huwag kayong dadaanan to, marami kalaban. Umikot kami.
Naka-Lambo yung kotse naka-Lambo yung sa Tobar eh. Mayaman, lugi tayo.
Buds, may kalaban sa Tobar, ha? Marami. Umikot na kami sa left side, eh.
Kenji, ikaw muna.
Ay, sige,
Sige,
sige.
Buds. Ingat.
Nandun ka na sila.
Si...
Racing daw, ah.
Tayo nang inigutan natin. Aray ko. Hindi mo kaya yan, puno yan. Ay, nabangga din. Ayos. Walang iya ka, merong... nabangga ka din. Diretso na kayo, diretso na kayo sa bila. Kuhanin ko na lang.
Ito na.
Pangit yan, malambot yan eh. Dili na. Butasin yung gulong nito.
Tara, baka madali tayo nang nasa ano.
Tara.
Wala, nandyan na sila ng likod.
Yawa! Bago na kotse ko, ayaw. Deja mo.
Okay, tulay daw ng cement. Unlayin natin. Okay, dito.
Hindi ako maka-andar. Wala akong gas.
Tayo, around the world tayo,
Dito, gas. Para hindi sayang.
Ayun,
Hindi.
Wala pala akong gas.
Huwag mo na i-boost. I-ano mo lang, normal mode ko lang. Eco mode ko
Okay.
sa tawagin.
Ay, Tesla pala ito. Tesla.
Buds, nasaan kayo, Buds?
Ang render dito.
Render
Taas.
ako.
Nasa taas daw sila ng cement.
Taas sila na semento.
Tara.
Bumabaril.
Nasa tawid kami.
Oh, may parating.
Sila pa yung bumabaril. Grabe, ang render.
Hindi. Kampe yan.
Uy, hindi ako makagalaw.
Tara.
Na-stuck ako.
Nastak ka.
Ayun na, okay na.
Buds, nandito na kami sa ano. Hindi kami nakapasok ng tulay, Buds. May nakahabang eh. May nakahabang, Buds.
Uy.
Sige, nandito lang kami. Nasa harapan nyo kami. May kalaban sa harap, ha.
Nakalambo. Hindi nakalambo. Kenji, nakalambo.
Sige.
Ay, gago. Takbo.
Nandun pa, anong pangalan na sa akin?
Lambo.
Nandiyan ko rin eh.
Ay, umakyat ako sa taas ng mount.
Huwag ka dyan.
Pumesto na ako dito.
Paano ka namin mabakapan dyan?
Pumesto lang ako dito.
Tulay daw ng food boss ko. Okay, Buds. Okay. Kenji, sunod na Kenji,
Okay, kuya.
Merong, wag mo na labanan, Merong, tara na. Magano muna tayo,
Dilaw. Sila ano to?
Sige, gamitin mo na yan. Sige.
Iyoko na, sila ano to? Sila hihito mo, taragis.
Kulay pink!
Ay!
Ay, dali kami, Buds!
Ay!
Sa food boss mo, dali kami.
Ay, ang dami.
Sorry, guys.
Ayos lang.
Wala, hindi na kami nakaano, Buds. Natambangan kami. Quiz sa akin, quiz.
Ayos lang.
Food boss ko, Buds. Nakabantay sa food boss.
Dapat di na tayo gumalaw. Ang dami dun.
Dami, no?
Bawasan tuloy tayo. Diskarte na lang kami, Dad.
Sige lang.
Putang ina. Ako binabaril.
I-exit na ako, guys, ha? Kasi may work pa bukas.
Sige.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oo, salamat, mga boys.
Thank you.
Sa kay Buds. Thank you.
Barilin mo ito dito. Nalilito ako sa TV. Wala na rin gas yun eh. Tatakbo.
Tignan natin kung online pa si Bray. Kung online pa si Bray, laruin natin isang beses. Kaso, wala. Sayang. Ay, hindi. Nasa ibang account pala ako eh. Kaya lipat tayo na account. Kasi nagtanong sa akin kanina si Bray kung maglalaro daw ako eh. Kung hanggang anong oras. So, tinan natin kung online si Bray. Pag online si Bray, laruin natin bago matulog. Ay, wala. Sayang, wala si Bray. Anyway, sige, mag-sign out na lang tayo, guys. Anyway, thank you sa pag-tune in. Thank you sa mga sumilip. Thank you sa mga, nag-comment. Yung mga nangamusta lang, di ba? Thank you sa inyong lahat. This is Player One Okay now, signing out. Have a pleasant evening to everyone. Ay!